Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the Excavation of Hob's Barrow. I do want to make one note that is something that I've picked up on but haven't previously mentioned here on the title screen. It's the disparity in the reflection, that in the foreground, who we understand to be the physical Thomasina, looks sort of very academic, very put together, maybe interested in seeing where she's about to go, but in the reflection, she looks much more stricken. It's harder to see in the pixel art, but if you look at the cover art on Steam, it's much more apparent. And hello to Jelly Buns. I have to run to the pharmacy, but I'll be back shortly. Jelly Buns, it's awesome to have you here. Have a safe trip, and hopefully we'll see you again when you get back. With that just quick observation ready to go, let's hit continue. And as of the last episode, we had just arrived. Is it flickering a bit? I can't tell. We had just arrived at the manor, the estate of Lord Panswick, and actually, I don't think that we talked to this person yet.
Where is Lord Panswick?
Sorry, ma'am. I can't talk. Miss Fenchurch is ever so mad at me.
Well, Miss Fenchurch could have gone to go get her own milk then. Hello to Caroluna. I have a half hour left of episode 2. Well, Caroluna, you've got a choice. You could finish up, or I could sum up. I don't want to spoil it though, if you want to catch up. But either way, I hope you're having a great Saturday.
Hello there.
Bugger off, you whelp. This is private land.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this cold of a greeting.
I was wondering if it might be possible to speak with Lord Panswick.
Are you deaf, girl? Don't make me fetch the guards. They're armed, you know.
Are they more reasonable as well? Oh, look, is that a moon up there?
It's a symbol of some kind. A moon, perhaps?
Okay, I didn't notice that before, but when we go back into our journal, that moon, I think, looks even more like what is depicted here than the one on Andrew Shoulder's door. It's hard to see a little bit. It looks like there might be an extra dot in there. Caroluna says that he'll be watching it anyway. No, it's really appreciated, Caroluna. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Some fine-looking flowers.
Or curious enough to watch it, and then you'll let me know if you enjoy it. So this woman does not want to let me in. Can I look at the sheep?
How very bucolic. Miss Tompkins looks more anxious every time I see her.
Yeah, and she's busy sweeping the dirt off the dirt.
Where is Lord Panswick?
Sorry, ma'am. Miss Fenchurch.
Okay. We're going to try this a third time, and then I guess we'll start looking for things in my inventory to show her. Maybe like this stone? I could show her the fiddle. I don't think she'd be very impressed by it.
By Christ, you're like a dog with a bone. Do you want to get yourself shot?
I can assure you the only things getting shot around here are the pheasant. And perhaps the odd grouse. Greetings, my lady. Lord James Panswick, at your disposal.
You're Lord Panswick?
As I live and breathe.
You could have told me that before.
What is life without mystery, Miss Bateman? A predictable stagger to the grave?
I was imagining someone...
Much older and far less handsome?
Yes, to be frank.
See? I can read your mind, my dear. Now, may I ask, what brings you to my manor?
I wanted to ask if I could borrow some of your labourers.
Oh? For what purpose?
I intend to excavate Hob's Barrow tomorrow, and I'm in need of some assistance.
An excavation? How very delightful. We're in the middle of our own works right this minute. Follow me, Miss Bateman. Come along. I promise I don't bite.
I really dislike this guy. So the guy that I originally thought was Lord Panswick and then decided probably isn't because he's so reportedly reclusive.
This chapel was a place of unique devotion. And this was until some of my more ungrateful ancestors forgot him and abandoned it.
Why did they abandon it?
Men of great wealth and power can grow so comfortable that they forget they still need the divine. The sacrifices required to maintain such a relationship were no longer being made. The chapel soon turned to rubble, and with time, even the villagers forgot him. His influence endured, but only with the isolated few who lived on the very fringes of these moors. Believe it or not, my family's fortunes have dwindled ever since. Since I succeeded my father, it has become my life's work to restore this place of worship. With this sacred place rebuilt, he shall be venerated once more, and the name Panswick shall be uttered again across all of England. He guided the hands of my ancestors. Now it is time for him to guide us. Bewley is a godless place.
Have you forgotten about St. Edmund's? Father Roach might disagree.
I shall bring him back to these lands, and this chapel shall be his seat once again. A new world.
But it seems like you wish to bring back the past.
From out of the old world shall come the new, a greater truth. But I digress. Horace, my dear fellow.
Aye, your lordship.
This fair lady here is in need of some assistance. Would you and your chaps be up for a spot of digging at Hob's Barrow tomorrow?
Hobbs Barrow? Aye, your lordship, 'tis no bother.
Good man. You're in luck, my dear. These are my finest, and they're all yours.
Thank you. I am grateful.
On one condition.
Yes?
I've heard wonders about Mary de Plancy's Bakewell puddings. I'd rather like to try them for myself.
Your lordship, you're giving me the help of your men in exchange for cakes.
Yes.
But
Farewell, my beauty.
wait!
So they really did a great job of casting a voice actor to play a guy who sounds like he very much enjoys the smells of his own farts. It just goes to the level of voice acting in this that the graphics are by design very, very crude, but the voice work is just stellar because of how just slimy that guy is. And hello to Patikin. Patikin will be here and lurking around. Patikin, thank you so much.
The men look like they've spent many a long day exposed to the harsh moorland weather.
Okay, so Horace, we might get the same thing from Man.
The men look...
Yep, okay.
They have some decent equipment here. It will be more than useful for the excavation. Is his lordship joking about the Bakewell puddings?
No, miss. His lordship is a man of folly.
How ridiculous!
He treats you all right if you do what he asks.
Horace is the leader of this band of merry men.
And hello to, Jab, who says, in a game in crafting. Well, hopefully we can keep you company. Also, Carolyn is saying pixelated, yes, but not crude. It is very, very high quality artwork that is, I should speak more carefully, designed to be very evocative of a much, much earlier generation.
They have some
Oh, wait,
decent...
I've already looked at that.
They have some
Okay, well, I guess I have to go get some cakes. Or pudding. I'm still a little bit confused as to the structure of this particular, dessert, but...
Good day.
Oh, another strumpet looking to find our way into his lordship's bedchambers, I see.
I'm nothing of the sort.
Ha! I've seen plenty of your sort before.
I don't wish to provoke her wrath any further. Some fine-looking flowers.
All right, let me just see if Miss Tompkins has anything else to say.
Thank you for bringing me here, Miss Tompkins.
You're welcome, Mum.
Okay. All right, so we know where we're going, and also let me just take a look at my to-do map. So, find workmen, in progress, bring Bakewell puddings to Lord Panswick. Lord Panswick has promised me the use of his workmen if I can provide him some with Bakewell puddings made by Mrs. de Plancy. Such folly. It's honestly like, she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. It's an extremely reasonable exchange, I have to say. You give me your men for at least a full day. Stop what you're doing. Hold on. Oh, I wanted her to jump over the creek again, the beck, whatever it's called. And all he asks in exchange is some desserts. Okay, let's go. We'll go see if she's there, but I assume that she needs like a wooden spoon to mix the batter, and then the spoon maker is going to need something else in as well.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. Duplancy. Do you still have some of your homemade Bakewell puddings, Mrs. Duplancy?
Oh, you're too late, pet. I've a few left, but they're set aside for someone else.
Might you please be able to bake me some more?
Sorry, I'm not in the mood for baking. Truth be told, my dear husband Albert passed away recently. Me thoughts are all over the shop.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Aye, he's in God's hands now.
We have to find her a new husband.
Were you married to Albert a long time?
Aye, too many years to count. He were the cobbler here in Bewley, the most dashing gobbler in all of England, I used to tell him. Love is precious, pet. There's naught that can replace the hole it leaves in your heart.
I can relate to that in my own way. I wish you strength in this difficult time.
Thank you. With God's blessing, I'll get by.
Now, Cara Luna says that they also call it Beck in Norway. I'd never heard the phrase until this game, which I think probably just speaks to how poorly traveled and poorly read I am. But yeah, it's a whole new idea.
May I ask who you have set aside the puddings for?
Oh, Father Roach. He won't be back until tomorrow.
Won't they be off by then?
Not at all. Besides, pet, as I told you, I'm not in the mood for all this baking chatter.
Sorry, Mrs. Duplancy. Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Okay, now she mentioned cobbler. So if Albert was the local cobbler, that might explain why no one has been in. Let's go check the cobbler. And if that doesn't turn up anything, then let's maybe ask around town.
No one here. The sign is in a shabby state.
The cobblers, yes.
Quite an ornate construction.
Okay, let's talk to the blacksmith. He usually seems to know what's up. The blacksmith and the innkeep.
I can't think of anything else to talk about right now.
Okay, it's possible I needed to talk to her some more. Oh, what if we're supposed to steal them out of her basket? We'll hold on. Let's throw the wormy apple.
Enjoy his new home.
Okay, I was going to throw the worm with the apple at Mrs. Duplancy, and then that would distract her so that we could get the cakes.
I can't think of anything else to I can't think of any...
Okay. I don't remember if Cyril's here, or maybe the traveling musician.
I have nothing else.
No, and we can't go to the bathroom because it's gross. Cara Luna says that he hadn't heard it before, not in English. So if you haven't heard it, other people like in that general region, like I know that Norway is like not near England, but by American standards, it's quite close to England. We're over here in the United States, we're very, very far away from the whole area. So I would wager that if you've never heard anybody in English refer to it as a beck, that it's probably an antiquated use. Now, man, we've never seen this guy before.
Good day.
Hello there.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ralph. Not seen you around before.
I'm just visiting.
I feel like we've not been introduced to a Ralph at all. Like, I haven't heard of a Ralph before this.
What brings you to the market today?
I purchased a Scotch egg for me tea. You want a bite?
No, thank you.
Okay, so Scotch egg is apparently also something new. Is it like a Cadbury cream egg where it just looks like an egg, but it's filled with heart disease?
I'm looking for some help with an excavation tomorrow. Might you be interested?
Sorry, miss. I've already got my own job.
Enjoy your Scotch egg.
I will.
Oh, now I'm so curious about what a Scotch egg is. Okay, the horse checks
I
out.
hope she didn't mind the trip. I don't wish to carry around...
And then Herbert.
It's Herbert, the local stray. I'd rather not go.
Okay. So suddenly we've got people talking about Scotch eggs. We've got this guy, but then also on the way over, the, I don't know, salesperson, Barker, was saying, hey, Scotch eggs here.
Perhaps you'd be more interested in a Scotch egg. Freshly made, just 1 penny each.
No, thank you.
I mean, I want one.
I really don't want a mutton pie or a Scotch egg.
Okay, it seems conspicuous that suddenly we're hearing so much about Scotch eggs.
Good day.
How did you like your apple?
I'm afraid it is rather rotten, sir.
Hey up. That's slander, that is. Don't you be going around telling folk I'm handing out rotten apples.
Okay, then hand me a fresh apple, and maybe it'll slip my mind.
Good day.
Freshly picked apples, miss. Selling them at a steal. Would miss like to buy some?
No, thank you. It's probably safer if I...
Right, yeah, that's the one lady that we stole the herbs from. So...
I have nothing else.
Okay, let me head back to talk to Miss Duplancy, and then we'll check our to-do list. So here's Caroluna saying a Scotch egg is a boiled egg wrapped in sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs, and baked or deep fried. I really can't decide how I feel that sounds. It's definitely not a dessert. Wrapped in sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs, and baked or deep fried. I would definitely try that because I like all of those ingredients. It's just it sounds like a lot, I guess. It sounds like a big grease ball, actually.
I have nothing else. This must belong to... That's not mine.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Okay, so explore Bewley and the surrounding area. So it's straight up go walk around. Well, we know about the workmen. Bring bakewell puddings. Convince Mrs. Duplancy to bake the puddings. There must be a way. Okay, but when job 1 is explore and the surrounding area, let's go talk. We talked to everybody in the main square. Let's see who else we can find. Go about this in a fairly methodical way. Okay. Mr. I don't want to talk to you.
There's nothing else I wish to discuss at the moment.
Oh, they put up a little cross. Is this her husband?
The simple wooden cross bears a small plaque, on which is inscribed the name, Albert Duplancy.
Relative, are you?
No, just looking.
He were the cobbler. Who's going to mend me boots now?
The simple wooden...
Okay.
Hello? Does this fresh grave belong to Mrs. Duplancy's late husband?
Aye.
Rather bare, isn't it?
My job is to dig the graves, not decorate them.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Is that really it?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Well, even if I were inclined to dig up a memento to, like, show her how much her husband loved her baking and how she should really get back to it, I don't think that the gravedigger who's standing right there would be cool with it. Hello to Solid Chrome Hickey and Maxine. I hope you're both having a great Saturday so far. This is actually the second stream for us, and I think you were both here for the... Well, second stream for me. That you were both here for the earlier one as well.
The Devil's Turn.
It does say no stone unturned, but I don't think that I have any...
No, that won't achieve any...
stone turning devices.
Mr. Shoulder told me he'd be at the Plough and Furrow.
Yeah, he is, and Thomasina did not want to talk to him. Wood, window. Yep.
Mr. Shoulder has stacked block... No sign of any movement.
It would be cool if, like, when you right-clicked on the window, it went to, like, a cutaway. You know, maybe not a full screen, but just sort of, like, showed you a pixely representation of what was inside. Okay, let's go north. So we got the fairy circle.
I've had enough of...
Okay, so we can no longer look at the wormy hole. And then this way just leads to Hobbs Barrow, right? I guess I could ask the dude who lives here. What's his name? Bryden? Mr. Bryden?
Hello? Is anyone home? He's not answering.
I wonder if the Black Phillip milking drove him mad.
What a wild-looking thing.
You know what book I read multiple times when I was young and growing up and have thought about on occasion for years afterwards? I don't remember the name of the author, but it was a book called Witch's Sister, which is, it's the story, I believe it was called Witch's Sister or The Witch's Sister. The story is about the protagonist is the younger sister who used to get on really well with her older sister, but lately her older sister is becoming much more distant and getting interested into these, strange things. And the protagonist believes that maybe she has been, well, hold on, hold on. Before we go this way, let's go north. That maybe the local seamstress is like perverting her into becoming like a dark and eldritch witch or something like that. When in fact, like, if you read the book, even when I was growing up, it was like, oh, this just goes to Lord Panswick's. Okay. When you read the book, it's fairly clear to the reader that she's just growing up. Like, her older sister has, hit puberty and is interested in dating and doesn't want to hang out with her younger sister as much anymore. And instead, the younger sister just has a very fanciful imagination. But I remember reading some of the book. It's very spooky when you're reading it at the age group that it's intended to. I remember being like freaked out by like some of the like eerie things that would happen and how much they would disturb the protagonist. It was like, you can't say that it's like young adult horror, right? Because it's not, but it's like young adult suspense. And I found it very, well, by young adult, by the way, I mean like youth. Like, what was I, probably 8, 9, 10 years old when I read that book, maybe younger. So like, that's the age group when I say young adult. It's younger than that even.
I can't think of anything else.
Okay, so we can't talk to her. And there's nothing here. What suddenly brought that to mind? What was I suddenly thinking about that? It felt like that came up when we were studying the grave, or maybe the fairy circle where the crow hangs out. Oh, you know what? It was like the Black Phillip thing. That, my God, it was specifically, oh, he's not here, therefore he must have gone mad. That kind of like just sudden leap of logic that isn't actually supported by the text.
I don't think anyone is home.
I remember the main character's like best friend in the book. Whatever her name was, she went by Mouse, M-O-U-S-E, like Mouse. And I always wondered, like, she's a fictional character and didn't exist, but like, if she did, at what point would she have said, "Don't call me that anymore," because you might not want to go by Mouse your entire life? She's like, what, 8, 9 years old in the book, maybe 10. Is there like, yo, don't call me that? Because if you're in the neighborhood... This is Cyril's house, by the way.
Bugger off!
Ah, the unmistakable charm of old Cyril.
It's like with my niece and nephews, I feel like everybody in the family has always been very careful about giving them any sort of like diminutizing nickname, because then you sort of get used to calling them that, and then they get used to getting called that, and then their friends do, and then that habit can be very difficult to break. So nope, just call them by name.
It seems an age ago.
Okay. And then this sign is just this. Yep. That's the trains are out.
A door of...
I don't really know what to do. We do have more confirmation that Arthur, am I remembering correctly, Arthur Duplancy was the cobbler, but that is not helpful information to me because I still can't interact with the cobbler store.
There's nothing else I wish to do. I really don't want to...
Okay, we haven't searched everywhere yet. Okay, you can't look in the windows or anything. We've examined the sign.
I can't take...
So there's 2 more places that I know that we definitely haven't been. We haven't been to see Henry.
Mr. Long mustn't be... I don't need to go in there.
Okay, we can't go anything here. And then there is another area over here over to the east. Oh, and we should talk to the innkeep. You know, we might have some more to ask now that we've been around. Carolyn is saying, by the way, the Scotch egg... Hold on.
Nobody home.
The Scotch egg does not look like much of a grease ball, judging from the pictures. Maybe it's just like a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin. Maybe minus the cheese, because that wasn't included in your description. I would definitely try one.
The road disappears over the horizon.
Okay. We didn't actually go up to Hobbs Barrow itself. Let's look here at home.
There's nothing else. I can't think of...
I guess it's always possible that, like, the drawers have come unstuck or something.
Jammed shut. I've hung my dress aside from...
And the bowl.
I don't wish to carry...
Okay, we could go back and talk to Mrs. Duplancy now that we visited the grave. She might have something to say about it. After that, I'm a little stumped. I'm not saying that I want any advice just yet, but we might get there here in record time.
Good day to you, pet.
Hello, Mrs. Duplancy. I saw your late husband's grave, Mrs. Duplancy. I am very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, pet. I'm ashamed to say I couldn't afford nought more than a simple wooden cross. You were a colourful man, our Albert. He deserves better. He loved his flower beds. He's only been gone a fortnight, and already his plants have gone to rot. May the Lord forgive me.
Plants are difficult to maintain. I'm sure Albert would understand.
His precious hippeastrum were the first to go. I would have loved to lay one on his grave.
I have an idea.
What does a hippeastrum flower look like?
Oh, beautiful things they are. Tall stems topped with large red flowers. Hard to grow in this climate. They were his pride and joy. The remarkable thing is there's no scent to 'em. That's why he loved 'em so much. You see, he hated anything that smelled sickly sweet. Hippeastrum were just perfect. Let me know if you come across one, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. Duplancy.
There might be something else or something more, but there were large flowers out in front of Lord Panswick's estate that Thomasina wasn't super into, but I bet that's what we're looking for.
What does a hippeastrum flower look like?
Oh, beautiful things they are. Tall stem, hard to grow. They were his the remarkable thing.
Okay.
Let me...
Of course.
Sometimes it takes a couple sentences for me to make sure that I've heard that part.
Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Oh, Caroluna also likes a hippeastrum. Hippeastrum? I've never heard of this flower before. Caroluna's actually brought up a link. I want to look at it real quick. Let's see if the link matches what we see in the game. I'll be very interested. Can it please open up? Oh my god, it actually does. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was making a joke there about, like, the art style in this game, but that is exactly the plant that was outside Lord Panswick's thing. Okay. Yeah, let's So, let's fast travel. Because I never do that. Oh, I can't. It's oh, that's right. You can't fast travel from inside. But we can go here. Okay, yeah, it's literally this one right here. Look at it.
These matched the description of the flowers Mrs. Duplancy mentioned.
Okay, so we've definitely solved this quest. It doesn't smell like anything.
There's no scent.
You get away from my hippiastrum!
Ah, apologies.
Move!
Well, that confirms it.
Go stamp her toe.
Those flowers. May I please take one?
Are you deaf and daft? Bugger off!
Gives it a cold stare. Okay, so we're gonna have a sympathetic ear here.
Good day.
Hello.
I really need one of those hippiastrum flowers.
Why?
It's a long story. Might you please be able to get one for me? Or distract Miss Fenchurch so I can take one?
Those flowers are Miss Fenchurch's favourites. She spends hours looking after them.
She's crying.
Sorry, Mom. It's just that I'm so worried about Mr. Ambrose.
The milkman?
Aye. We were to run away together today.
I see.
I'm worried sick that he stood me up. Without Mr. Ambrose, this job is all I have. I can't risk losing it over a flower.
So to recap, I need to find the milkman to give to the maid, to get me the flour, to bring to the bake, to get the cake that I need to give to Lord Panswick, to get the workers to excavate Hob's Barrow. I just want everybody to keep in touch with what the stakes are at this point.
I'm sorry, Miss Tompkins. I still haven't seen him.
Do you think he's abandoned me?
I'm sure that's not the case. He must have been delayed somewhere.
Could you try to find him for me, Mum? Oh, please, Mum. I'd do anything for you if you found my love.
I can try.
Oh, thank you. You're ever so kind, Mum.
This is bordering on a parody, but I'm actually very entertained.
What does Mr. Ambrose look like?
Red hair.
He's got brown hair.
Oh, okay.
I'm afraid I'll need a bit more to go on.
Sorry, Mum. I'm too upset. Please find him, won't you?
Hey, stop your nattering and get back to your sweeping!
Sorry, Miss Fenchurch.
Hey, don't sweep it onto me. The reason I said red hair is that we suddenly have a very sort of like conspicuous guy with red hair talking about a Scotch egg. Like, that guy's got to be there. The Scotch egg has to play into it. They didn't just randomly introduce that here for no reason.
A bullying old harridan. There's no point trying to speak with her.
Okay, let's go talk. Wait, can I go talk to the workers?
Please let us get on with our toil. If you do as his lordship requests, we'll help you tomorrow.
Carol Luna was asking, is that lady standing there all day? I honestly think yes. I think that she's one of those people that has nothing better to do than to criticize the work that other people are doing. Okay, so Ambrose? Mr. Ambrose? Hold on. Mr. Ambrose, the milkman is missing, and Miss Tompkins would like me to find him. It is in my interest to help her. Yes. So now we sort of start again. You know, where are we gonna go? Last time it was the dead last place that I looked. But I want to go back to the main square and see if red-haired guy is here.
Good day.
Hey up.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
He's here every market day.
Except this one.
Aye. I haven't seen him today.
Any idea where he might be?
Not in the slightest.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Is that him right there? I mean, he had brown hair. Maybe it was black. That was probably just like an NPC. That almost certainly was not going to be him, because that would be like a weird thing.
Time for a juicy mutton pie?
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, I do. Why'd you ask?
Isn't he normally here at the market?
Aye, he's normally 2 pies in by now. Don't know where he is. I'm sure someone around here must know where he is.
Goodbye.
Let me know if you get hungry now, lass.
All right, so clearly he is not the red-haired man. I mean, I didn't think that anyway, based on the fact that he allegedly has brown hair, but the red-haired guy had bought a Dutch egg. This guy would know about it.
Good day.
Care to buy some apples?
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Eddie? Aye.
Have you seen him today?
No. Well, maybe his milk's gone off. I hope so. Might mean some of his customers have some spare coin for me veggies. Ah!
Goodbye.
You know where I am.
Good day.
Hello there.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
I do, yes.
Have you any idea where he might be?
He is usually here by now.
So I heard.
He normally arrives via the road to the east of Bewley.
Thank you. Enjoy your Scotch egg.
I will.
This is really, I'm not even kidding, it's really making me want to try a Scotch egg. I don't know of any place around where we live that would have one, but then again, I didn't know of any place that would serve boba until I knew what it was, and then it was like, oh, that sounds good. So, east of Bewley, like, I do know our next place to look, but...
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, a good man.
Have you seen him today?
Come to think of it, no.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
I can't think of anything else to talk about right now.
Okay, so I was thinking that maybe Mr. Cross, who had just arrived here, might report like, oh, there was like an accident on the way here. I don't know what he might say about the road to the east.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
Jab says normally he'd take a break here, but he's rolling hot and afraid to break the streak. Hit it, Jab, keep going.
Do you know Mr. Ambrose, the milkman?
Aye, I know the man.
Do you have any idea where he might be?
No, lass. Why?
No matter. Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Okay, let's head east. Oh, whoops. Let's head further east than this.
There we are. Your shells are looking much more interesting now. I pestered Mother for years to let me bring some of your treasures here. I think she's worried that I want to follow in your path. She has hidden most of your discoveries away. I had to beg her to bring me to visit you, you know. I shouldn't worry you with all that. Do you know that I have a story for each of these pots? Well, I don't know if they're all true, but they are my memories. Even though I was so young, I still remember our adventures together. Would you like me to share my memories of them? Well, I'm going to, whether you like it or not.
We don't know what his status is, and the idea that he might be conscious and aware, but unable to move or speak, that is... I imagine that he would be very grateful for any interaction, any attention, anything to, like, occupy his mind for a little while. So this was the very first urn, so let's start here.
We talked about this one already. The red urn you buried in the garden for me. It seems like such a long time ago. You were incredibly excited about this one. I hadn't gone on an expedition with you yet. You were so happy about it, showing it to Mother and I. You didn't stop talking about it for hours. I thought, how can Daddy be so excited over some old broken pottery? But it wasn't long until I understood. I think you brought this one back from a trip abroad. I would have loved to go with you, but Mother didn't want me to. I remember you being so proud of it. It looks ancient.
I feel very conscious about, like, wrapping up a video game if I'm gonna be moving, like putting it into a box so it won't take damage. Can you imagine wrapping something as delicate as an ancient bit of pottery and being like, well, I just gotta hope it makes it there okay, because it's literally irreplaceable.
We found this one together in that mucky old barrow near Avebury. I think it was the second time you'd taken me on a dig with you. I remember you bringing it up to your face to look inside and shrieking in horror. "There's a bloody rat in there," you screamed.
And by the way, Carolina was saying that of this Scotch eggs, from the pictures he would try it, but has doubts that he would like it much. I'm gonna have to see these pictures.
Mother was so angry when you brought this one home, wasn't she? "William, that simply will not do. It's taking up all the space on the mantelpiece." Once you moved it to your study, I remember creeping in to take a peek at it. This is from the first dig I remember you taking me on. The excavation of West Kennet Long Barrow. I found it wedged behind a stone as you ate your sandwich. You said, "Now there's a tiny urn for a tiny girl." I almost forgot. While I was searching for your pots in the shed, I found one of your manuscripts. I thought Mother had burnt all your notebooks, but she missed one. It was an account of barrows across the east of England. I managed to read it all before Mother took it away. Daddy, it was fascinating. I've decided that is what I want to do with my life. I'm going to travel the country, excavating and documenting my own finds. Well, as soon as I'm old enough to escape Mother, that is. When you're feeling better, we can go out on expeditions together again, just like we used to. I promise you'll get better, Daddy. I'll do whatever it takes to make it so.
That zoom in on the eyes, by the way, the first time that we ever saw that was when she was like pulling up here in the train. So I always think, when we see that, I'm like, is that happening like as she walks to this location, or is there an element of her that's still on the train? Are we seeing these flashbacks from even a later point after she's left Bewley? And we're gonna go to the east, but again, just a check.
Nobody home.
Carolina was agreeing that that's like gotta be one of the worst ways to go. Yeah, I have been rather specific in a living will about not wanting
something ahead on the road
to be that way. Yes, there is. I can't gesture with the cursor, but
my God! Mr. Ambrose! I'm going to help you.
okay, but you can do it. You don't have to, like, announce. He doesn't need to be prepped for it.
Let me free you, sir. Curses! The rope is bound too tightly. I can't even free his mouth. Don't worry, sir. I'll find a way to free you.
Alright, I don't have a knife. The trowel is... oh, wait, I do have a knife. Okay, hold still.
Please hold still. I'm going to cut you free. He had been so tightly bound that I could barely cut through without hurting him further. His mouth was stuffed full of flowers of a most peculiar scent. I was dismayed at such savagery, and wondered if the feral folk Father Roach had mentioned were responsible for this abhorrent act. After some considerable effort, I managed to cut him free. Are you all right?
Who were lost in visions of hell itself, the devil. I saw the devil.
Who did this to you?
I don't remember. Oh, the terrible sights I saw. I won't forget them till my last breath.
Are you Mr. Ambrose?
Yes, Edward Ambrose.
You were to meet Miss Tompkins today.
My love. Oh, my darling love.
Let me take you to her. Here, take my hand. As we made the arduous trek to Panswick Manor, I probed Mr. Ambrose on who had done this to him. He insisted that he didn't remember anything, except for his nightmarish visions.
My love!
Eddie! Jesus, what happened to you? Were you in a fight?
Now, fret not, my love.
I thought you'd abandoned me.
Never. Thank your friend here for helping me out of a bind.
Oh, Eddie!
Let's get out of here, my darling.
Hang on.
You thieving bint! I'll have your guts for garters!
Oh, stick it where the sun don't shine, you bitter old sow!
The cheek!
There
Oh,
you are, Mum.
Thank you, Miss Tompkins.
No, thank you for finding my poor Eddie.
Aye, thank you, lass.
Let's go, Eddie. I'm never setting foot on this godforsaken estate again.
stoop kid's afraid to leave his stoop.
Good luck, you two.
Okay, we have the flower to give to the lady. Hold on, do I need to do anything with the broom? No. Can I go further into the manor now? No.
That is well out of my reach. It's a symbol of some kind.
Yeah, a moon, perhaps. Okay, let's go give the flower to Mrs. DePlancy so that she'll give us the cakes. I really thought that, like, Mr. Ambrose was going to say, oh, wait, before we can leave, my wallet. Yeah, I need somebody to go find it for me. Okay. I think we've got the flower she wants.
I have something for you.
You found them? Oh, you dear child. Let's take them straight to Albert. You'll come with me, won't you?
Of course, Mrs. DePlancy.
You know, the things I miss most about him are the things that used to annoy me. The click of his jaw as he chewed his sandwiches, leaving his tools all around the house. The way he'd never back down from an argument. He's just quiet at home now. Silence. The funny thing is, that's what he always craved. Peace and quiet. He were a good man, our Albert.
Sounds like he was. I'm so sorry.
Do you fear death, pet?
It's the part in between that concerns me most.
Whatever do you mean?
My father had an accident many years ago. Ever since, he's been in a state where he can neither speak nor move.
Oh, that does sound dreadful. I'm sorry, pet.
I believe his mind to still be active, but perhaps this is the worst of all fates. To be trapped in one's own body and unable to express oneself while the world continues around you. That is what I fear.
Maybe he'll get better one day.
I'd do anything to make it so. Those flowers look beautiful.
They do. Albert will be smiling down on us. Pet, I left me basket inside the church. You'll find some Bakewell puddings in there. You can have them.
Oh, you...
I insist. You've brought an ounce of happiness into my day, dear. It's only just that I return some.
Thank you, Mrs. DePlancy.
To be truthful with you, I was saving them for myself. I shouldn't be so selfish. Lord forgive me.
You're nothing of the sort.
I'll stay here with Albert a bit longer. You go back to your day, Pet. Lord be with you.
And you, Mrs. DePlancy.
Yeah, I don't think selfish is the word that I would apply to somebody who spends most of their waking hours doing bake sales to raise money for this church, and her only act of selfishness was not giving away, literally giving away, because we have no money, the Bakewell puddings to a stranger she met like yesterday, for a purpose that we didn't ever like explain to her. Like, look, well, Hobbs Barrow doesn't mean anything to that lady. She doesn't care about Thomasina. I mean, like, they like each other, but no, of course she's gonna keep her own Bakewell puddings. It's not selfish. She needs food.
Here they are.
Okay.
This belongs to Mrs. Duplancy.
Can I root around and get more puddings?
I've already taken them all. The basket is empty.
Okay, I guess we'll just leave it on the floor then. She'll be along eventually to pick it up. Okay, now we can go back and give the Bakewell puddings. So actually, I don't know how to get in touch with Lord Panswick. I guess we'll just stand outside and yell. Oh, there he is.
The vision returns.
I come bearing gifts.
Freshly baked gifts?
Yes. 3 of Mrs. Duplancy's famous Bakewell puddings.
You are an amusing creature, Thomasina.
What do you mean?
You must think me a scoundrel of the highest order for asking you to undertake such folly. Of course I would have lent you my men either way. I merely desired an excuse to share a cake with you.
Lord Panswick.
I take no pleasure in watching you scurry about Bewley to fulfill my every whim. Or do I?
I do not find this amusing in the slightest. You have no idea what I had to go through to get these for you.
Oh, I do. And that's what I admire about you. Tenacity. Even in the face of something you know to be absurd. You don't give up, do you?
Never. Though in this case, I ought to have.
Now then, will you share one of these tempting confections with me?
Okay, so she sounds annoyed right now, but the thing is, she has up until this moment found him very charming. I don't like him at all, but again, sometimes there'll be cases where I will make a decision different from what I think because I think that it's appropriate for the character. I'm going to say that I haven't seen Thomasina eat a bite in 72 hours, so...
Why not?
Splendid! I'm glad the rain doesn't put you off. You like to live a little dangerously, don't you, Thomasina? Let us stroll to the beck.
That sounds nice.
Honestly, I thought we were going to do it inside.
We walked side by side down to the beck, his hand occasionally brushing my own. Despite Lord Panswick's entertaining company, I had an overwhelming feeling that time was being wasted. We ate those cakes down by the beck, and as he attempted the most charming lines he could muster upon me, I only had one thing on my mind. Father, could he be saved from his suffering? Was the answer to be found within Hobbs Barrow? I ached to find out. I didn't even notice the taste of those famous puddings. Seemingly disheartened by my lack of enthusiasm, Lord Panswick soon marched me back toward the ruined chapel.
Chaps, listen up. You're to assist Miss Bateman's excavation tomorrow. What time, Miss Bateman?
Early morning, if you don't mind.
We'll be there whenever you need us, miss.
Hobbs Barrow. On the Bryden estate, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll be there.
Take your tools with you. Miss Bateman will need every assistance we can provide her with.
It's no bother.
Splendid.
Thank you, lads.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll see you later, my dear.
Thank you, Lord Panswick.
We're finishing up here, miss. See you tomorrow morning, all right?
Certainly. I appreciate your help.
And welcome back to Jelly Buns.
Well, that's a relief to have my crew assembled for tomorrow. It's getting dark and cold. Time to head back to the plough and furrow.
Okay. I will say right now, because sometimes it's fun to like say things like this and then see how they actually pan out. Right at this moment, I do not know what the cost. Like, let's say that we... Oh, hi, Owl.
I find owls to be rather sweet creatures.
Yeah, they deliver letters for you. I don't know what cost might be proposed to Thomasina to make her father well again that she would not consider worthwhile. Oh, look, there's somebody at the cobbler's. Or is this where Mrs. Duplancy lives?
No one here.
Okay. It's things like the fog specifically. I don't think that this would have been technically possible in a lot of the games. And like the glow of the lights, there's certain things that I just don't think were done back in the old adventure games that I played. Maybe Jody K remembers differently. She played a bunch as well.
Miss Bateman.
Good evening, Stanley.
Your lordship,
Stanley, my good man.
to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, your lordship?
I've come to wish Miss Bateman good fortune for her grand excavation tomorrow. I'm really rather curious as to what she might turn up.
As am I, your lordship.
An exciting time for Bewley. Wouldn't you agree, Stanley?
Oh, yes, your lordship. Very, very exciting.
My dear, please, allow me the pleasure of buying you a drink. A welcome antidote to the wind's bite. Wouldn't you say, Stanley?
Yes, indeed, your lordship.
Oh boy. Again, I absolutely would not, but if anything, first of all, Thomasina can toss back a couple and she's fine. If anything, I think that she would feel that it might help her clear her head and sleep better. I personally would absolutely not accept a drink from this guy, even in an otherwise friendly establishment where I feel like we get on well enough with Stanley, but...
Why not?
Splendid. You heard the fair lady.
There you are.
Thank you.
Everyone, raise your glasses to Miss Bateman. May she conquer Hobbs Barrow and find all that she desires. Hip hip!
Hooray!
You don't wish to join me in a beverage?
Oh, you go ahead, my dear. Alcohol does not sit well with my constitution.
Thank you, your lordship. I needed that.
I aim to provide you with whatever your heart desires. I've reminded my chaps they're to meet you at Hobbs Barrow in the morning.
Thank you again, Lord Panswick.
Till we meet again, faites des beaux rêves. Mr. Shoulder?
Your lordship?
I absolutely adore those pregnant pauses that you get in this game. They're so deliberate when they happen, and what makes them work so well is how well all the dialogue flows otherwise, that you know it was a very intentional 5-beat wait before Stanley responded. Also, Jellybones was saying, yeah, mysterious fog rolling into town. I'm sure that goat has nothing to do with it. And then also was like, geez, Stanley, you gonna wipe his butt? Yes, Stanley was extremely, he's a very gregarious and friendly guy, but super deferential to Lord Panswick.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
I've recruited the help of some local labourers to help with the excavation.
Marvellous. When do we start?
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Wonderful.
Can I count on your assistance?
Of course. I'll meet you here at the Plough and Furrow.
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
You've changed your tunes, Stanley. An exciting time for Bewley. I thought you didn't want me to excavate Hobbs Barrow.
Well, what can I get you?
I'm fine for now, thank you.
Oh, Stanley doesn't like being called out.
There's nothing else I wish to...
Okay.
I have nothing else. I'll leave those two to their...
Let's just see if there's anything else. And I'm going to keep checking the door just in case.
I don't need to use the...
No.
Thomasina,
Arthur?
I've remembered something.
What is it, Arthur?
Not here. Meet me outside, in the alley.
He's stinking drunk. But let's hear what he has to say.
Why? The only thing we know about that guy when he gets drunk is that he lies. Sometimes gets dragged out the back, into the back alley.
Hello again, Cyril.
You're still here? Leave me be, lass.
I should actually follow my first instinct by just trying to go to bed.
What is it?
First of all, I must apologize to you. That night we met, when I vanished.
Yes?
Well, there were a man in the loo. A hooded man. He threatened me with a beating if I told you anything about what I saw.
Oh, Arthur, that's terrible. What did you see?
That's the thing. I hadn't the foggiest idea what he were on about. It was a drink, you see. I'm an embarrassment, Thomasina.
No, you're not, Arthur.
Here's what I need to tell you. I've remembered what you were on about.
Oh?
Standing in the woods today, I knew there was something. I waited, I concentrated, and it finally came back to me.
Please, you're keeping me in some serious suspense here.
All right. It were a couple of days before I met you.
Hurry now, Leonard.
I'm not as quick as I used to be. This leg is getting worse by the day.
Yes. I'm constantly made aware of your failing health. Do not fear. You said he has promised you the reward of your returned strength.
Aye, and it can't come soon enough.
Are you sure that it must be her blood?
Aye, she's family.
And she gets here in 2 days?
Aye.
We must bring her to the site as soon as she arrives.
No. Your lordship, with all due respect, we've been through this. We need to ease her into the idea. She would laugh in our faces if we just asked for it.
Who said we would ask?
He told me that she needs to give it willingly.
This little scheme of yours better work, Leonard.
It will, your lordship. We've got the perfect bait.
Wait. Who goes there? Did you hear something? Ah, a moonlight tryst. After something, are you, Mr. Tillett?
Your lordship, let me...
Save your words, you drunken wretch. Off you go, skedaddle. Don't make me ask twice.
This horse is getting a hell of a show.
Don't spend so much time with that fool. It's beneath a woman of your standard. It's sad, really. That dog urine they serve here has rather pickled the man's brain.
You're being most unfair to him. Mr. Tillett is a nice man.
Come now. I shall bid thee adieu once more, for I do not wish for this to come between us. All the very best wishes for your excavation tomorrow, my dear.
Thanks.
Really, Thomasina, you don't have any thoughts on what you just heard. Now, I have been taking note of the fact that this new chapel that's being put together, the Lord Panswick said, well, like, God has left this land. And then when Thomasina would point out, there's a giant church over in Bewley, he'd be like, oh, yeah, whatever. And he, wouldn't sort of acknowledge that. But although he would say, God has left this area, he would only ever refer to, he will come here. He never used he and God as interchangeable ideas. He would either talk with capital H, he, or about how God has left this land in a much more abstract and remote way. So what we saw there was a continuation of that, where Leonard and Lord Panswick are having this conversation about like, oh, he's promised the return of your strength. I think it's fairly clear they're talking about Saxonot the Goblin. That's what I think is happening there.
What do you think, girl? How can I make sense of all this? I'll be glad to be back in London with a good book once this is all said and done.
And I guess the question for Thomasina would be, how much blood are we talking about? Like the amount that you use to do a glucose test for diabetes, or the amount that you use to fill an urn?
I don't wish to carry around my heavy excavation tools.
Okay. Also, that is now the second time in like 5 minutes that Lord Panswick said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And then he immediately showed back up someplace where you wouldn't expect him to be, just hot on Thomasina's heels. You would really expect her to be a little weirded out by that. Like, he's so obviously lurking just behind her. All right, so I'm like 5% tempted to pause for a second just in case that got muted out, but I really didn't want to talk over it, and hopefully we're going to be okay here on Twitch.
So, Thomasina, the journal proves I'm telling you the truth, does it not?
It does.
Good. Now listen. I can help him again. We can help him. Together.
How?
All those years ago, your father entered this barrow with the goal of binding me within it. All because the people of Bewley had gotten it into their heads that Sack's not what cause of their plight. I tell you, Thomasina, we're not. Your father botched his incantation, leaving me in this weakened state, stuck in this limbo. As for him, well, you know how he ended up.
This doesn't sound right. Incantations. My father is a man of...
You don't know your father, Thomasina. How old were you? A child of not even 5, 6 years? You need to enter this Barrow and undo what your father did. The spell must be undone. Then not only will I regain my strength, but your father will too.
But how do I...
Blood. The truest symbol of life and death. It's the life which flows within you, but it's also death once it escapes.
I don't understand.
Worry not how you'll undo what's been done. When the time comes, you'll know exactly what to do. Time is short. Your father and I grow weaker by the hour. Go. Save your father.
I also really like the hard cut to the title cards.
I must undo what has been done. Father, I'm coming.
Okay, so just in case a section there did get muted, we listened to a musical performance by the traveling musician. It was a kind of a cappella performance, although it sounded to me like there were undertones of like an electric guitar in the background, and on a couple of occasions everything sort of like glitched out and went that bright pink, but there was no other like game dialogue or anything. It was just sort of like what sounded to me like music that was written and performed specifically for the game, and hopefully we'll be all set. But just in case it got muted, that's just a quick recap of what it had been. Nothing new in here. Oh wait, Herbert. So again, we closed the door. I didn't think that Herbert was in here yesterday, but maybe I just didn't see him at nightfall.
Herbert? How did you get in here?
I know he supposedly smells, but that is a very pettable cat.
It doesn't matter anymore. I've got much more important things to get on with.
Jellybuns is saying, okay, so that's true. If there's a guitar, it's not a cappella. What's the word that I'm thinking of where it's just like a live performance? Not... Then again, there might have been some sort of weird filter on his voice as well. I don't know. I'm not good with like music.
I've got much more important things to get on with.
I really want to pet that cat. Oh, and also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Cyril was here in the corner holding his ears during the performance. At least it looked to me like he was. He was too proud to get up and leave, like, F you, this is my bar, but he was holding his ears during the music.
Good morning. Stanley?
Ah, Miss Bateman. Mr. Shoulder left a note for you.
Thank you, Stanley.
Miss Bateman, meet me at my home as soon as you read this. There's no time to waste. Signed, Leonard.
Oh, there were a key with it too.
A small key. All right. And we still got the fiddle, the stone, knife, other stone, the journal, which, by the way, I think has some important clues in it for us that I don't know how to decipher yet. Our chisel, the lantern, the spade, the room key, which is interesting. The room key we've not touched. We've read the letter. Every other thing in this entire array has been of interest to at least show somebody, except the room key. So we should assume that at some point it's going to be relevant, because otherwise, and maybe they just put a room key in your inventory for like verisimilitude, but you'd sort of think it would come up.
Bateman, I beg you, in the name of God, leave this town.
Father Roach? What is the meaning of this?
There's nowt for you here, lass. Clear off.
I beg you, Miss Bateman. Father Roche, Mr. Farnaby, here to wish Miss Bateman good luck for her excavation, gentlemen.
Am I heck?
Mr. Kemp, you know. An excavation strongly supported by Lord Panswick, no less.
I wish you well with your findings, Miss Bateman. May the Lord strengthen you and guard you from the evil one.
Yeah, little children, guard yourselves from idols.
Good luck, Miss Bateman.
Thank you.
Jelly Buns was also saying, like, you know, the voice acting is really good. Yeah, especially for Lord Panswick. I feel like everybody else is very good, but for Lord Panswick, I feel like
make haste to Mr. Shoulder's residence.
the VO director was just like on the other side of that soundproof glass, just going like, nailed it, fucking nailed it. Oh my god, we did it. This is it. We got like the perfect guy for this. Like, I think the woman who plays Thomasina is really good. I think all of it is really good.
Haste to Mr.
Okay, well, I thought that was the way to Mr. Shoulder's residence. That's right, he's north of the graveyard. And just for clarity. Oh, this is the way to Mr. Shoulder's residence.
Douglas? Douglas dropped his toy sword. It's just a toy. It's no use to me. The Devil's Toe.
The small key might be to this door.
Mr. Shoulder!
Okay, before we go inside, let's see what's around outside. You never know if you might have erected like some sort of a temple to Samhain or something. That's not the correct pronunciation of that. I always forget how that's supposed to be said. It's got a pronunciation that doesn't go with, like, it's like a Celtic word, so the letters don't go together. Samhain. Okay, thank you, Jelly Buns.
This key is much too small for the lock.
Okay, how about, I mean, my room key doesn't make any sense at all, but...
This key doesn't fit.
No, okay.
Mr. Shoulder!
I can't believe this guy dragged me the hell out of here again.
No sign of any movement.
Grab some wood and break the window. He's either there or he's gonna come back real quick. I guess I just gotta leave and look at the rooster.
Where did the hens go?
I was wondering the same thing. We are down 2 hens, but they're probably producing some sort of like
I
weird
only just got here.
ritual. Okay. Wait, small box.
What's this? A box. It's locked. Mr. Shoulder, I got your note. Explain yourself. Curses.
Hello to Lady B. Lady B, we are playing the Excavation of Hob's Barrow, which is apparently set near Derby or Derbyshire in England, but in like the 1800s. So it's a little bit lower res than you might be accustomed to. Let's use our small key on the lockbox.
The key fits. Another one of these peculiar stones. Wait, does this mean Mr. Shoulder was the 3rd man on my father's excavation? There's a note underneath.
My heart is his heart. My light is his light. So I thought it was Lord Panswick was the third person. That had been my theory. Okay, hold on. We have let me do something very quickly. Let me put in a save need shoulder. God damn it. Still had a typo in there. But hold on, because we get so few opportunities to do this. I hope it doesn't crash or freak out. Let's do a quick shout out for ES Art, Lady B, and Cara Luna, and Petikin, and More Than Mia, and also Samalander. Okay. And now back to the adventure. Hopefully. Let's just make sure it does come up. Okay, it is. Yep. All right. Yeah, some games get weird when you alt-tab out of them. So I did find the lockbox, and there's still nobody here. The carved stone.
A carved stone has been affixed to the door. I think it depicts a crescent moon. It's bolted onto the door itself. I can't remove it.
Well, hold on. Can I, like, chisel it free, maybe?
That is not coming off.
Okay. That sounds pretty definitive, but, actually, I'm not sure if there's a but. So, we've got, like, a... Oops. Wait, is this a different note? Oh, this is my heart. My heart is his heart. My light is his light. Let me look into the journal. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the letter. I want to look at the journal. This is my father's journal. I feel like I've read through all of this. Rho, theta, epsilon, chi. We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. All eyes. So single characters may be only. All eyes must face towards the second archontic. When the sun and the two moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. Okay, so we've got these, like, double circles here, which are probably the sun. And then we've got the big, snakeheads. A dead language reveals the path, for thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said, and follow the words of my mouth. Reveal thyself to me. And then, yeah, this was the part I was thinking of. I will pour out my spirit, but not his light is my light, and so forth. Okay, well, maybe we can go forward now. But yeah, Lady B, we've been very curious, and like you or Borlak, like your thoughts on the voice actors or selection of accents in this game, because I am a dumb American. I think they all sound wonderful.
It's just a toy. It's no use to me.
Okay, so I should go to Hob's Barrow next, right? As far as I know, that's where we're headed off to. Okay, let's see if Mr. Bryden is home.
Hello? Is anyone home? He's not answering.
I'm gonna go say hello to Black Phillip. Although, oh! Black Phillip is gone. Okay, that seems ominous. Also, I doubt that Black Phillip normally gives milk, so should it be Black Phillippa? Let's look at the stone again. AR. Got it. This was AB. That's what I wanted to look at. Lady B says, her accent is very jolly good.
Good morning, men. Thank you for braving the weather.
Aye, miss. Little rain is no bother. So, may we start?
Yes, we've not a moment to waste. And so, the excavation of Hob's Barrow began. Horace and his men learnt quickly and went about their work with care. We toiled for hours, rolling away great stones, removing mortar and masonry put in place by Father, Mr. Bryden and Mr. Shoulder. They had gone to great lengths to seal the barrow. I should have realised their efforts were not only to keep us out, but also to keep something contained within. Eventually, our careful application of pick, trowel and shovel gave way to open space. A stagnant, cadaverous odour was let forth. The seal was broken. I couldn't believe my eyes. Splendid work, all of you.
Step inside, miss. We'll be right behind you.
Thank you, Horace. I can't wait a moment longer. Flowers? I can't get my head around this. How could they possibly grow here? Horace, come see this. Horace?
I don't think he's coming in here.
Fairly standard Bronze Age pottery. Smashed to high heaven, I'm afraid. Not worth making a note of.
Like, in America, as far as I know, we don't have, like, burial mounds that are just there that people go into. Maybe that's a thing in other parts of the country other than where I came up.
A burial urn, perhaps, though there's no sign of ashes. An unremarkable find.
Like, Lady B, do you and Borlak, have you been to a burial mound? Do they get turned into places that people visit, or are they permanently cordoned off as being like archaeological sites? I really don't know how this works. Like, here in the United States, like, you would go to like the house where George Washington grew up, and now it would probably be like a tourist place where you would go in and there'd be velvet ropes and you look at the things that George Washington probably had available to him around the time that he was alive in design, if not in actuality, and then like that's the whole thing, and then you buy like a $15 or $25 like little keychain, and that's what it is. But I don't know if like there's like tourist trappy style burial mounds, or if that's like that would be a huge, like, what are you talking about? That would be wild. Of course you don't do that.
They look the same as the flowers that was stuffed down Mr. Ambrose's throat. Strange. Try as I might, these flowers are steadfastly rooted.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just leave. It'll be fine.
Chaps? I've been abandoned.
I did not click to come back in, by the way. She decided to do this. Okay, am I supposed to do something more? Oh, maybe I could cut one of the flowers?
They are not budging an inch.
Lady B said that we have, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounced this, Newgrange? Newgrange is a 5,200-year-old passage tomb located in the Boyne Valley in Ireland's ancient east. So, like, have you been there? Is that someplace that, like, you or like Little B would go to, like, learn, like, a field trip? Or is that just like, oh no, that's like cordoned off for, like, you know, respect for history and stuff?
Let's see if I can cut them away.
And Jab is confirming there are Native American burial mounds.
Incredible. Something has been boarded up here. The rock appears to be holding the boards in place. The boards are held down by 2 large rocks.
Okay. I'm going to try to move a rock, but I bet it's heavy. Not that heavy.
Iron stakes have been driven through the boards, holding them firmly in place. I feel uneasy about what might lie beneath, but what choice do I have?
I mean, you could leave and go invent, like, Monopoly or something. Chisel?
I can't seem to budge the stakes with this.
I'm not going to cut them away with the knife. And I don't think they're going to respond to a jaunty fiddle tune. I could try to dig around them, maybe. This seems stupid, but...
A passage! Father, I'm coming. Curses. Am I out of paraffin? Thank goodness.
I was going to check every once in a while. When you see it dim like that, that's me holding spacebar to see if there's any interactives within range of the lamp. Lady B is saying that it is a tourist place, but she's sadly never been.
My lantern went out, for good this time. I had no choice but to venture forth into the darkness. With each step, the passage narrowed in every conceivable way, until I was on hand and knee, crawling through thick clumps of vegetation. The odor of that dank soil was somehow unnatural. I crawled for an age, until I emerged in a cavern that seemed lit by the very earth itself.
It seems like fun, Lady B. You should really go. Thomasina's having a great time. Okay. Oh, I bet we're gonna do some puzzle solving.
A great stone slab of a door. A thin strip of stone. It's a slightly different color to the rest of the masonry. A thin strip...
Okay.
This stone panel seems somewhat loose.
I bet we can chisel it.
Perhaps I can chip away at the edge of the stonework here. Well, the chisel broke, but what have we here?
So I hope I didn't need to get into that other panel.
3 niches have been carved into the stone.
Okay, so we have 3 stones that look like they would go directly here, but before we do something, can we look at the other panel?
This stone panel feels firmly affixed.
I'll try the trowel on it.
The blade of the trowel is too thick to wedge between the stonework. No use. The knife will snap if I try any harder.
I don't think that, like, the key would be pretty sturdy, you would think, but I don't think that's gonna do anything.
I can't see how that will help me.
No. And I don't have anything else that's panel related. So, hold on. Right. So the only clue that I have onto the order of the stones, I feel like, is this page right here. And that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Lo, a place of miracles, a planted seed sprouted before our eyes and illuminated our path. So, I mean, the very earth itself is illuminated. Nature's laws hold no meaning here, but I clutch my tablet with the knowledge that it shall end this. So the trouble is, I don't know if this thing that looks to me like a letter P is rho, or if rho is a different letter. We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. All eyes. Let me make a note here so that I don't have to keep opening this up. P, rho, theta. Then we've got this, kind of looks like an E, which I want to say is epsilon, but I don't know. And then, she is the last letter. All eyes must face towards the second, archontic, which I don't know what that means. Well, let's look at our stones. So, on this stone, I've got IAW. But if I'm looking for a P that might start it off, that doesn't seem right. I don't see a P on here. There is a P on here, so I could put the P in first. Let's move this one, oops, this one here. All right, rho, theta, epsilon, I don't know. Literally no idea. So let's put something in. We'll put the snakes in the middle. And then we'll put this one in last, the chicken. Cockerel.
What is this place? It's as solid as it looks.
And hello to Sungnif. Also, I agree with you, Jelly Buns. I probably would have turned around the time that my lantern went dark, as opposed to, like, risking getting lost in the pitch blackness of, like, the midnight underground. Let's maybe put them in the order that we got them. Yeah, that doesn't seem to do anything.
This stone panel feels...
There's not that many potential combinations. I'd love to know what the logic is here. All right, so I didn't see anything happen.
I'm afraid I can't shift it, even a hair's breadth.
All right, let's put Muscle Man here, and then Cockerel over there. I assume that it would do something. Like, I keep exiting and, like, checking the door, but I have to assume it would click or whir, we get a line of dialogue, something.
I'm afraid I can't.
That would indicate that we did it. There's gotta be a way to do this. Also, Sunkanif has said Theta is sort of like an O with a strike through. She is like an E without the vertical line. And then Maxine has apparently found a picture of Theta. It's like a circle with a like a minus sign inside of it. And Maxine found Theta as well. Or she, actually. Okay, let's put Cockerel, Muscle Man, and this one here.
A click?
Okay. hold on. I don't understand why this is the solution. Like, I literally just brute forced this. Apparently this was right. I would love to know why, because I don't know which part of the puzzle I just solved by basically guessing. Oh, okay. This one has 1 star, then 2 stars, then 3 stars? That's the only thing that I can see that makes sense. Should I write down these letters before I go forward? I mean, the game doesn't seem interested in trapping me, but I'm going to write them down anyway. I-A-W, A-B, P-A, and then C, or maybe crescent sign, I don't know, A-Z. All right, let's go check the other one.
Incredible.
Okay, so this I feel like I do know what we're doing. P comes first. Oh, shoot. Then row. Okay, there's 5 characters. 6 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Unless that's row. If P were row, then this would be theta. Except I don't see that weird E. I guess this could be the E if it was sideways. Let's do this. I don't know row. Oh, that's what the letters are. Except that also doesn't make any sense, because then there's no P there. I already pressed P. I don't know why these have a diamond around them. A, B, and P, A. There is an A, B, P, A. But there's no... Oh, there is an I. Maybe you just type it in. Hold on a second. Maybe I messed up by doing the P. I have no idea which of these characters would be considered row. Okay, hold on. Let's try typing in the letters as we have them. So I don't know if that reset it. I, A, W, A, B, P, A, C, A, Z.
Oh my. The light.
Was that supposed to be entirely silent? I hope not.
Curses.
Boy, I'm really glad.
Me. There's nothing Bronze Age about this. Roman? Ancient Greek? No, this is something else.
I'm really glad I took a second to write down the letters, and that it was not reliant on me knowing the Greek alphabet, because I super don't.
The figure is presenting what looks like a sheaf of wheat. The figure is holding a whip.
Also, Sunganif, I think, had picked up on the stars as well, because when I looked back over, he had said count the stars. I solved it accidentally and then worked my way backwards to that.
The tiles are broken here, exposing the soil beneath.
Oh, hold on. Should we use our trowel in the soil?
I've broken up the soil. It's loose now. I've tilled the soil.
Okay. So maybe we're gonna... Oh, we are gonna plant something, because... a planted seed sprouted before our eyes and illuminated our path. Okay, I thought that maybe that was just the soil being illuminated, but no. So we're gonna plant a seed. Although it's weird that that comes before the whole thing with the alphabet. We found the code was simply in this... Oh, but this wasn't what we did before. Okay, sorry, I'm still catching up. So this is still relevant. Nature's laws hold no meaning here, but I clutch my tablet with the knowledge that it shall end this. Clutch my tablet. I have a journal, I don't have a tablet.
A simple pot made of clay. It's small enough to carry with me.
Okay.
This one has shattered to pieces. These are all empty. There is a nook hidden within the fist, as if to hold something. There is a nook hidden...
So maybe wheat and a whip, possibly.
A beautifully ornate pot. This is the only one with a lid. It's sealed tight. There's something rattling round inside.
Well, my chisel broke. I mean, we could try to pry it open with the trowel, but this never seems to work.
Some situations do call for brute force. There's something here, made of wood.
All right, calm down, Lara Croft. Although I guess smashing open the pottery is better than, like, suffocating to death.
It looks like a crank handle.
I bet the crank handle goes on the box.
Try as I might, it will not open. There's a small hole in the front of the box. A lock, perhaps. There's a lock.
Okay, let's try the crank on the box.
It fits in the hole. Let's see if I can turn it. My word. The box is full of seeds? They glow in a most unnatural manner.
Okay. Probably seeds into soil, yeah? Is there anything else in here that... Oh, wait. Look, water. Oh, let's get water with pot.
I've collected some water in the pot. Empty.
Also, Maxine is saying, Ro looks a bit like a pea, which Significant agrees. Killian says 1800s, bit early for tablets. Oh, yeah, probably more the chiseled kind, and less the digital kind.
There's nothing inside these.
Okay.
There's nothing inside these.
All right, so let's use seeds on soil.
There we are.
And use water on seeds.
Am I dreaming?
So we might have to cut it. I'm going to try pulling the wheat.
The wheat is firmly rooted. I can't pull it out.
Okay. Knife on wheat. And now I'm betting wheat in fist.
It fits.
Okay, now that just leaves this.
The figure is holding a whip.
Okay, I left that in my other Indiana Jones, so... Maybe any weapon? Do I just put the knife into the arm?
No, that won't achieve anything useful.
Whip. I don't have any of those. Crank?
It fits. But something is not quite right.
Okay, so maybe we can tie something onto the crank to make it a whip. The roots. Okay.
I can't believe it. The roots descended in mere moments. I simply must be hallucinating.
Can I cut the roots with the knife?
I've removed a portion of the root. I'll keep it.
It tastes bitter. Okay, roots on... Oh, we're making a cat of nine tails out of roots and a crank, but still.
It's a little crude, but I believe I've fashioned a whip.
Also, Cara Luna says there's seeds you can literally see glowing in real life. Or growing. Sorry, I thought I said glowing. And something I've said there's at least one form of, like, I think it's an ivy that actually literally does, under the right conditions, grow so quickly you can watch it. I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's like a South American ivy, but it grows incredibly quickly. Not to the size we saw in the game, but still. Yeah, I remember reading about that one. So let's put our whip. I guess it's not a cat of nine tails. It looked like it was going to be.
It fits. I'm unsure if this had any function. It seems bare of any detail.
Okay, so this goes back, and we might need to go back, but substance. Go put your hand in the substance.
Ashes, perhaps. A thick, greasy substance is oozing from the broken pot. I can't believe how well preserved these relics look. They must be ancient. In any other circumstance, this beautiful vessel would be one of my greatest finds yet. Here, it seems meaningless.
Pot, broken pot, urn, substance, plinth.
I can't believe they must be... It's in remote...
Okay, let's go in order. So we started here. Let's go through this one.
Goodness me. Herbert? It's Herbert! What madness is this? What on earth are you doing down here, you silly cat? Did you follow me? It looks absolutely starving.
I don't have tuna. Oh, I still have my pot.
A simple pot made of clay. Something is hanging here. A writhing mass of serpents carved from stone. On the reverse side is a thin, notched shaft. Perhaps a key of some nature.
I thought it was a ball of brains. Okay, I found the serpent key.
The statue echoes the mural back in the first chamber. The statue extraordinary. An ancient monument so deep beneath the earth. I know not the world I find myself in.
Herbert really wants attention.
A hole has been driven into the side of the stone.
And we'll probably hear the same thing.
A hole is...
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why, but I really don't want to put my hand in there.
Can we put a cat paw in there?
It looks absolutely starving. A hole has been...
Okay. So I don't see anything else to do right now. Let me look at the journal. So we've done this portion here. So maybe we're looking for a tablet, but then we've got these Greek letters that we need to think about. And I don't know what the archontic is yet. Or that. Or that. And me without my bag of sand.
It's an ancient vessel, the shape of which I haven't seen before. There is a thin slot set into the front of it, not unlike a piggy bank.
Cara Luna also did not like the plaintive mewing. He says, oh, and Maxine says, bamboo is the fastest growing plant on Earth. Some species of bamboo can grow more than 1 meter per day, which is like 4 centimeters per hour. Oh, look! The wheel.
Astonishing. An ancient device.
No, this means nothing to me. Yet.
This has the appearance of some sort of dial. The notches seem to correlate to the holes on the right-hand side of the contraption.
I mean, give or take, I feel like we've got a couple notches that don't go anywhere yet.
Smaller than the one at the base, but I think this might be a dial too. Perhaps there is some sort of key to activate this contraption. A symbol is carved into the surface. I recall it from my research. The Ouroboros, a serpent swallowing its own tail. A deep hole drilled into the wall.
We're probably going to hear that for all of those?
A deep hole.
Yes, okay. Alright. So I could try to put the serpent thing in there, but that doesn't seem right since it was like a vertical slit.
A remarkably accurate depiction for something that must be so ancient. This figure makes my skin crawl somewhat. What exactly is it? It presents a small, rounded object. The man is presenting a small, rounded object. Characters. Perhaps Greek in origin?
Okay, so I should probably, I'm gonna guess, make a note of what this is. It feels like a lot, but also, hold on. This may not be necessary, but A, B, P, A, that other character that I don't know what it's actually called. A, and then what did we say this was? She, with the 3 lines. Then we've got A, B, A without the cross beam. Oops, I put a cross in there. I didn't mean to do that. B, then a regular A. So that's really gonna mess me up now. Let me scratch that out, and I'm just gonna put like the upside down V. N, A, and then theta. Is that what we called this? A-N. Oops. This'll be fine. Having my notes riddled with slight typographical errors, that we'll just make it up. Okay, so I made a quick note of what this is. I don't know if that's going to be helpful, but just in case. Okay, let me try to interact with the vessel.
I can't move it an inch. It's heavier than it looks. There is a thin slot set into the front of it, not unlike a piggy bank.
So that sounds more like what we would do with the brain ball.
It's too wide to fit.
No, all right. So we probably need to have something different, but she did say it's like a keyhole. This would be extremely weird, but let's try it.
That won't fit into the slot.
No. All right, did I have anything else? The knife is pretty thin.
That won't fit into the slot.
And, like, it's probably looking for a specific item, but I'm also thinking to myself, well, what if it looks like the CD eject button on an old optical drive? You just stick any paperclip in there to hit the release. Oh, so that's the way that we came in. Let's just stride right through the substance. Oh, Black Phillip.
What in God's name? I shan't go near it.
There's our crescent moon.
It looks like an object could be placed here. It looks like an object. It looks like an
Okay, so there's actually 3 different slots, apparently. That's why I'm glad that we have the space bar. Maybe the brain cell goes to the dial. It might. I don't feel like I have enough pieces to work with that yet, which is why I'm going to go back to the dial.
Incredible.
Oh, the plates. Remember the plates? I don't remember what order these were in.
A bust of a mighty bull. It's facing southeast. The bust of a dog It's facing east, towards the bear. There's something in its mouth. There's something in its mouth. A gold coin. There are no markings on heads nor tails.
Maybe we put the coin into the slot that looks like a piggy bank. All right, hold on. Let's check the rest of these.
A carved bust of a cat. It's facing west. A menacing goat carved from stone. The bust of an ass. It's facing northwest. The bust of an eagle. It's facing north towards the goat. A bust of a mighty bull. It's facing southeast. I think this is a bear. It's facing east.
So there were plates that were up in the plow and furrow, and they were in a specific order. I have no memory of what the order was. I kept thinking that we might come back to that, but let me look at the crank.
An ancient crank emerges from a mechanism within the wall.
Here's what I bet, and this is obviously just a guess. What you do is the order of the plates on the wall would determine the order of the animals. So like whatever animal was first or in this position, that's where you might have to set this direction. Uh-oh.
The bust of an eagle. It's facing northwest towards the dog.
Hold on. Is that the one that just changed?
The bust of an eagle. It's facing west.
Okay, so no, what I just said doesn't hold true. Can I turn this back around to face the goat? I want to put it back to where it was. Okay, so let's look at our journal. Do we have any clues about this? Which animals are supposed to face what direction? No. When the sun and the two moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. Nope, we're not there yet. Okay, let me come back to this room having made hopefully no... Oh, wait, what's the hand?
My God! A severed hand is locked in a death grip on the handle. Who did this belong to? Ghastly.
Crank handle.
The fingers are icy cold. I've managed to pry it off.
Oh, tell me we have a severed hand.
Keep it?
Yes. Put it in inventory.
The hand is dry and withered, like beef that has been left to age.
By the way, Jelly Buns, Jab was saying good day crafting. Not done yet, but had to take a break. I'm glad that it's going well, Jab. I know that you put a lot of time and effort into it. Jelly Buns is saying it seems like duckweed can grow even faster. Duckweeds can double their mass in between 16 hours to 2 days if they have optimal nutrient availability, sunlight, and water temperature. Jelly Buns also liked the bust of an ass and says it said all eyes must face something, so everything needs to look at the goat. That could be it. Let's look. All eyes must face towards the 7th Archontic, which actually does feel like maybe it's the goat, because the goat seems kind of important. And yeah, we can't go into this area. We're definitely not going closer to that. Okay, let's go see if we can jam the coin into the slot. Sorry, that's not the right one.
I can't move it an inch. There is a thin slot.
Okay. When she says piggy bank, it makes me think of a coin.
The coin went in. I don't think anything happened. I can't move it an inch. There is a thin...
Well, we did something because now we don't have the coin anymore. And then we have this ABP. This means nothing to me yet. Oops. Hold on, I'm dropping my pen. Alright, let's go see if we can jam the severed hand into this hole, because she said that she didn't want to put her hand in. So we're going to get Mewling Cat again. Let's put this into the hole.
No, that's not it.
Hmm.
The statue bears no moving parts or secrets, it would seem.
Let's check the other one.
Nothing of note here. I don't know why.
Okay, so she doesn't want to stick her hand in, nor the severed hand that she has. Use hand on cat.
Ghastly.
So I should note that the way that I play adventure games is to try sometimes seemingly random shit. I was not expecting that to happen. We found another coin. Silver?
A gold coin?
No, more gold.
There are no markings on heads nor tails.
Okay, well, let's go put it into our urn piggy bank. I have to assume that we need at least 3 because it's a video game.
The coin went in. Something stirred within the plinth. I should take a closer look down there. The characters are now protruding out from the plaque. Perhaps I can push them in some manner.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So now we need our journal clue. Did I write that down? I did. So this is where we'd go. Yeah, there's only one P. Shoot. I feel like I still don't know what rho is. Is rho... Well, rho's not an R. Maybe rho is the upside down V. P, rho. Theta is this one. Then we've got the E. And then we've got... Oh, epsilon. Shoot, I don't know epsilon either. You would think that information would be around here somewhere. I don't want to start, like, jamming on random buttons. P. Wait, maybe this is rho. Maybe the P is rho, and then theta, and then this is epsilon, and then she. Maybe there's, instead of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe there's just 4. Rho, theta, epsilon, she. That could be it. Let's try that. So if P is rho, then we'd hit that one. And then... Oh, but theta. I don't know what theta is. Oh, but chat said it's this one. So that's theta. And then epsilon. And then she. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for telling me what theta was. Okay.
This must be important.
Yes, it goes onto the floor in front of Black Phillip.
A thin rod with tiny notches along the shaft. The head is adorned with a coiled serpent.
So this, I bet, goes onto the dial. Okay, and then there's nothing else in there. Okay. Oh, and Maxine was saying that that thing that looks like an E is Sigma. So, before I go on, how would you solve this if you didn't know the Greek alphabet and didn't have chat? Because, like, I would have no idea. I could just, like, jam on regular, like, random things, but would I just assume as an American that the characters I don't recognize would be the correct ones? I guess. Because I'd never get that she was the three horizontal lines. So let me look at this, because I'm willing to bet that thing that we just pulled out goes in here.
The rod doesn't seem to fit here.
No. All right. Oh, I didn't.
A thin rod with tiny notches along the shaft. The head is adorned with an Ouroboros.
Okay, well that should probably go back where it was, though. Let me remember that went there. Aside from that, let me actually click on these things now.
It moves a fraction, but appears to be locked in some manner. It appears this section does not move. It moves a fraction. I can't fit my fingers in.
Okay. I don't feel like I have anything else that can go in.
That doesn't fit there.
No. It's going to be a circular thing, and the trowel's not going to fit, and the room key won't fit.
That doesn't fit.
Okay.
Perhaps there is some...
So we found a piece that we think goes, or I think goes in front of Black Phillip. So, whoops. I don't think we need anything else in here.
The box is full of seeds? They glow in a... I don't need to take more.
Okay. Can I take the whip or the wheat again?
The sheaf of wheat is firmly inserted.
Okay. I probably don't get these back.
The whip is held in place.
Sungnif said there were only 3 letters that didn't repeat, so you'd have a 50% chance of solving it on the first try. Oh, and the 50% I think is the fact that 2 of them were identified. The P was identified as Rho, and wait, what was Epsilon? Hold on. No, the E is Sigma. So wait, what was Epsilon then? Anyway. Okay, let's go to the panel. So we're going to put our crescent in here.
It fits.
Now, there's 2 other slots, though.
The fragment is in place.
Could I take it out again if I wanted?
The fragment?
No. Okay, so that's good. It means that I don't need that anymore. Now, I've got these rods, but this is not like put a rod in place.
Fit there.
Right. Oh, wait. I bet I know. There were 2 slots in the standing stone.
Whatever was once placed here is long gone.
Didn't actually intend to click on that, but that's fine. So I've got an Ouroboros and a coiled snake. Well, let's try one.
No, that is well out of... I'm not sure what that... I can't see how that... I can't see...
No, she doesn't want to stick the rods in.
No.
Okay. So we're not here yet. Now, the journal says... Oh, whoops.
A thick, greasy substance is oozing from the broken pot. I haven't the faintest idea what it is. I don't wish to touch it.
Do I still have that urn? Yes. Can I put the ooze into the urn?
I've scooped some of the greasy substance into the pot. I've scooped some of...
Pot of grease. I don't know what I would do with that yet.
I can't see how that will help me.
It might help him. Okay, so we can't go past Black Phillip. We don't have any more panel pieces right now. Let me look at the journal here again. Because I think the Jelly Buns was onto something. All eyes must face towards the 7th Archontic. Is it just the goat? Because... Well, I guess we'll try it. So this one's already facing there. So I guess we'll see which one this turns. Oh, towards the 7th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's only 6. So I guess, you know what it is? It's going to be, there's 6 cranks. It's going to be whichever one doesn't have a crank. So this one is definitely for the
bust of an eagle. It's facing north,
okay, hold on.
towards
I
the
need
goat.
to start. This is going to go way faster if I make a couple notes for myself. So 1 is eagle. 2.
This crank is jammed. It won't budge.
Ah, crud.
The bust of a dog. It's facing northeast.
3
towards
is
the cat.
dog. I honestly didn't see what changed. Okay, it was this one.
A bust of a mighty bull. It's facing northeast.
4 is the bull. That's the bear, right?
I think this is a bear. It's facing northeast.
And then this one is
A carved bust of a cat. It's facing southwest towards the ass.
so one of them doesn't turn at all because it's busted.
This crank is jammed.
So that leaves us with 2. Which one didn't go then? The goat we know didn't go.
The bust of an ass.
The
it's
ass.
facing northwest.
So number 2 is either the ass or the goat. But we don't know which one. So at this point, you would just brute force it, right? Like make everybody look at the goat, make everybody look at the ass. So the eagle's already looking at the goat.
The bust of an ass. It's facing northwest.
Northwest would be this way. And we can't turn the goat.
A menacing goat carved from stone.
So the goat appears to be facing the eagle. And then this is facing nowhere. Which implies that we'd have to fix the crank.
I can't get it unstuck with this.
Oh, the grease will do it. Okay.
The greasy substance could act as a lubricant here. Voila.
Okay, so now this is how we figure it out. They all face the goat because the goat is the only one that doesn't have a... There we go.
The bust of an ass. It's facing northeast towards the goat.
Okay, so that's definitely the ass. So number 3 is the dog.
A bust of its
Nope.
The bust. It's facing northeast towards the cat.
No, we need to make the dog face the goat.
The bust is facing northwest.
Okay, that should be correct.
The bust. It's facing southeast.
All right, cat.
A carve. It's facing south.
Cat is actually number 6. Let's go do that because that's going to be 1 turn. Okay.
A carved bust of a cat. It's facing south towards the goat.
The bear needs to turn 100% around. Done.
I think this is a bear. It's facing south.
Okay, and now last but not least is the
A
bull.
bust of. It's facing. Something has emerged from within the bust.
I feel like we're missing sound effects here and there. I kind of want to save and reload just in case. Like, remember when I alt-tabbed out? I'm wondering if I did something by mistake. Let's save it. Need goat thing. Okay. Let me just restart the game real quick. Because when it does that, like the shutter, and there's absolutely no sound effect, it makes me concerned. So 5 seconds in, and we'll go back in. So while this loads up, because it does take a second, hold on 1 second. Sorry. Jab was like, I was asking, like, how would you ever figure this out? And Jab says, I have no idea. It's all Greek to me. Now, Sungnif was saying that the solution to the lettering puzzle would be that there, like, some of the letters didn't repeat. And I think the logic there is if they don't repeat, like if there were multiple thetas, for example, you wouldn't know which one to press. If there's only one of them, then that's clearly the one that you push. The only question is in what order do you press it? So I think that's the logic. And yeah, I'm not sure I would have gotten that without chat saying like, hey, this is what a theta looks like. By the way, if you're watching in the VOD right now, chat has been extremely helpful on like, I don't know what the theta character looks like, and I could go Google that, but you know, folks like Maxine are putting into chat. The puzzles though, I'm sort of like working through. So I don't want people who watch the VOD later on to be like, okay, so here's
this object. I'll keep it.
Yep, that's gonna be one of the floor panel pieces. And actually these days, I feel like the chat is saved a lot more than it used to be. All right, let's put our bust fragment here.
I should take a close.
Oh, hold on. So that'll clearly be this one.
It fits.
So now what we're looking for is the larger one. Yeah, I don't feel like, did we have footprints before? Yeah, I love doing shoutouts, guys, but that's why games get weird. So the wheel is the one thing that we really haven't worked on yet. Because I was waiting on additional pieces. We've got an Ouroboros rod. We've got the coiled rod and the serpent key. Okay, serpent key goes in the middle. I think Maxine had made a comment to that effect earlier.
I think I shall leave it in.
Good. Okay. I like it in a game like this when you do the right thing and the game stops you from undoing the right thing. It's like, no, you did that. You're fine. So don't worry about it. So now the question is, so we've got an arrow. The dial points towards this one.
Something moved in another room.
Okay, so before I do any other thing, let's go see if we can identify what just changed in the world. Oh, I don't think this was here before.
The statue is well out of reach.
Well, as soon as we start getting into statues, that's when I look at the journal, and we go to this page here. I feel like we're currently very far away from anything that looks like this, but this is the first time that we've seen like a big snake. Let me just see, did anything else change in any other room? But I do feel like that was the answer. Not that I see. Oh, wait, I'm now... Sorry, I scrolled back to look at chat. Okay, this is all done except for, oh, you know what they're all facing now? Black Phillip. That's where they're all looking at now.
What in God's name?
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the only oops.
Empty.
I think that we're now interacting with the dial to change things in the standing stone room. But I don't yet understand how this works, so we're gonna like... Yeah, there's a sound effect to that now. I don't know that there would have been before the reload. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna dial up to maximum snake. Well, no, that doesn't quite look right. At least it doesn't look like what's in the journal.
The great carved serpent has emerged from the shadows.
So I think we wanted to be at level 3 snake because it looked like it was in the right position even if the mouth wasn't open yet.
It appears this
Okay, forgive me. I am going to go look at it again. But then I feel like we need to leave the middle. Yeah, I mean, that's closer. We're going to do that for now. And then let's look at the outer dial. Okay. So maybe we dial the outer dial up to 3 as well. No, we're in the wrong position. At least I think it's the wrong position. Okay, let's try here. I don't know, that seems kind of right. What was level 2 snake, do we remember? I don't remember, but look, they're both facing in, which I feel is like we're trying to do.
The statue is well up.
I can't reach it. So now the question is, what am I supposed to do with the rods? She didn't seem enthusiastic about sticking them in here.
No, that won't. That is well up.
Okay. So the rods do seem to interact with the dial puzzle. But to what end, I don't know yet. So let's put this one in here.
The rod doesn't seem to fit here.
Okay. Can I take it out? Uh-oh. Well, okay, so let's put it back in. And then... So, like, one is a snake and one is an Ouroboros. And if we, like, go, like... It could be that one, or it could be this one over here. Okay. So I'm going to say that since the arrow's pointing at that one, and this arrow's pointing at that one, let's go in the next room to see if that makes any sense. You know what I bet that does? I bet it opens their mouths. And now we see what I was supposed to do. So, yeah, we needed this to be up there. We're shining into the lights. Okay, hold on. Let's take that out. Let's dial... We might have to, cycle through all the various settings here, because it sort of goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this, I think, is in the right position, based on our test earlier. Because that was like the highest level snake.
What in God's name? Could there be something inside?
Oh, I wish I had that severed hand. Can I stick the knife in? No, let's grope around in there.
What's this?
Hey!
A piece of stone carved into the shape of a crescent moon. It must be important.
Okay. We've finished the floor panel for Black Phillip. I don't know how this helps us to get past him, but...
It fits. Oh, it's gone.
Okay, I feel like we're making pretty good progress here. Okay, so this looks snaky, doesn't it? It doesn't really look like our So 2 snakes biting in towards the crescent moon, and then we've got 2 regular moons, or these suns. When the sun and the 2 moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. I feel like we're here now. Oh! This was it, by the way. We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. That's exactly what you guys were talking about in chat, with there only being a single one of each of those characters. I was thinking that, like, on the stones, I was trying to work it out. On the stones, there were, like, a couple characters each, and I was thinking maybe they're not supposed to be initials, they're just treated individually, but it was just being single characters. Like, on the panel, which characters are the ones that are not repeated. A dead language reveals the path, for thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said and follow the words of my mouth. Alright. So we have good reason to believe that whatever we're looking for now is just in this room, because we solved basically every other one.
The soil has hardened into a thick casing.
Okay, well, let's chop that up with the trowel.
A goat has been buried here.
Oh, Black
How
Phillip.
gruesome. A horn has broken away from the skull. A horn has... I'll take it. The horn is hollowed out at its base.
There's a lot of stuff right here.
It's very heavy. I believe this might be the lid of the small tomb. Karja? Sarja? I have no idea what it means. A serpent's head is carved into a small inset. A serpent's head.
Okay.
A small round niche has been carved into the side of this slab.
Small round niche. Well, I mean, the base of the horn is circular. I don't think this is it, but...
No, that won't...
Right. Alright. So the inscription, the niche, the serpent's heads we've looked at, the lid... What's this page?
A page, perhaps torn from a book? What have we here? This is my father's handwriting. A page torn from his journal?
Samuel's hand was ripped clean off by an unseen force. There was so much blood, it remains to be seen if Saxnot was the perpetrator of this shocking act. He's a sturdy lad and he'll live, but he is shaken. I'm shaken. Mr. Shoulder, however, seems very keen to push on. The man is positively chipper. He's right, though. We do have a job to do, and by Jove, we will get it done.
Saxnot.
So, I don't remember because it's been a few days. When Mr. Shoulder was... No. When Mr. Plinth... What the hell was his name? Bryden. When Bryden was telling us the story of Samuel and how he didn't come back the same way and he wound up committing suicide, did he mention that he was missing a hand, Samuel? I don't remember that coming up somehow.
2 fearsome serpents have been painted onto what appears to be a shield. I can make out chains hanging from above, holding it in place.
Also, I just noticed that this bust is missing a horn.
What a hideous sight.
It doesn't look that hideous to me, actually, but, you know, to each their own.
I should take a closer look.
Okay.
The horn fits perfectly, as if by design. The horn The eye seems to follow me round the room. The horn looks quite... The mouth is clenched tightly together.
Let's see if it opens now that we put the horn on.
Try as I might, I cannot pry it open.
Okay, again, I tend to try to use the knife as a pry bar. It's probably not gonna work.
Try as I might,
Okay. So we probably need something else in there, maybe having to do with the eyes.
Empty. Empty. It's been smashed to smithereens.
Okay. That leaves us with the carvings.
I wonder if this had any relevant meaning. That is well out of my reach.
3 lines, sort of like a W. That doesn't mean anything to me. Oh, can we go down? No. Okay, this did sort of look like maybe there was a down here.
That's not moving an inch.
Inscription. Kaja or Saja, it says.
Kaja? Saja? I have no idea what it means.
This is too high.
That is well out.
So these look like musical notes, or like they're arranged like that. It's very, very basic, if that's what it is.
That is well out.
Yeah, I can't touch that. We've got a circular hole where with like a niche. What would you possibly put in there? And why is this journal page in this room? Because this just seems like story. It doesn't seem to be a clue to anything. Let's look
I need
around.
to find a way forward.
Oh, no, we straight up can't go back. So that's good. That means that whatever we need is in this room. Let me look at the bust again. Oh, okay.
The eye seems somewhat loose in its socket.
Can I pry that out with the knife?
If I can just wedge the knife under here. Got it.
Should I take the other one too?
Is that blood?
Oh, that sucks. Keyhole. All right, the bleeding keyhole.
The eye seems to... No movement there.
Okay, let's go get the marble that rolled away. And now I bet this goes into the niche over here.
The eye is rather unsettling to look at.
Sungniff was saying, oh, so Mr. Shoulder was the third man. Yeah, she discovered that, or... I'm trying to remember what was it specifically? She had said earlier, oh, Mr. Shoulder was the third man. I had thought it was Lord Panswick, but no, it seemed to be Mr. Shoulder. Okay.
Remarkable.
Serpent heads are out.
There's a key. I'll take it. A keyhole.
Okay, well, let's put the key into the keyhole.
The key doesn't seem to fit.
Okay, I thought it was going to pick up the serpent heads. I've only got one other key.
The key.
And then we've also got a keyhole over here. This bloody socket.
It fits. Sounds like a mechanism creaked somewhere far above me. Try as I might.
Okay. Creaked somewhere far above me. Okay, how the hell does that help me here?
That is well out. What a hideous... No movement there. Try as I might.
I don't see anything here. We might read the journal again.
That is well out of...
Right, like, I mean, if we could interact with this, then I might think that the chain that she specified as holding it would be accessible, but if we can't leave the room...
I need to find a...
Right, so we can't go upstairs, so something changed when we put the key in the keyhole. Now, there is a different keyhole here, right?
A keyhole. The recess bears no more treasure.
Okay, so we've got an unexplained keyhole here in the stand, whatever it's called.
I have no idea.
And we're done with the thing. And then the only other thing that we have here is the lid.
It's very heavy. I believe this might... I wonder if this had any relevant meaning.
Oh, I bet it did. I don't happen to know what it is right now. All right, let's look at the journal. So we did this part. We found the code in the singularity. We did the all eyes. When the sun and the two moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. Oh, you know what that was? That was Black Phillip. So that's what that meant. And then that was the snakes beaming their ray of light into the sunstone, I think. Like, that's what the red line is. So they were like black, and they like barfed the light into it. So now we're here. A dead language reveals the path. So that would be like Kaja or Saja. For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said and follow the words of my mouth. Reveal thyself to me. For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. It feels like an order in which you're supposed to interact with things. Kaja or Saja?
Kaja? Saja? I have no idea what it means.
Kaja or Saja? S-A-J-A. How does that relate to anything in this room?
Empty. Empty. It's been...
Don't think there's anything else. Yeah, it looks quite real. Yeah.
The horn.
And we can't open the jaw. What does the journal say? For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said and follow the words of my mouth. This thing has a mouth, but what does that mean here? Thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. This is so obviously the answer, but I don't know how it works yet. Carolina was saying your explanation for it being the Lord guy, or like the theory, made complete sense. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because like, you know, an ancient curse that, you know, benefits one at the expense of everybody else. But yeah, and now Mr. Shoulder wants to come back and get his strength and his youth back. Moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the thing that I've said. Like, this thing doesn't have ears that we can interact with. Stand itself you can't interact with. I like the fact that we're limited to this room, because if I had to wander around, then it would take a million years. We know that what we need is in here. There's a recess right there, and I can't pull the key back out. Nope, that is permanently non-interactable.
Try as I might, the mouth is clenched. The eyes, the horn fits perfectly.
Mm-hmm. There's no more treasures in the recess. We have a keyhole. We can't interact with the eye that we pulled out. The lid doesn't seem to move anywhere unless there's some thing that I should do with that. And then we found Mr. Shoulder's note, which is, my heart is his heart, my light is his light. That doesn't mean anything to me right now. There's neither hearts nor lights that we can interact with. The good news is we have a very limited space and a very limited number of objects. So The pots don't seem to do anything. The bust appears to have been exhausted for now until we can get into the mouth. The inscription doesn't mean anything to me or her. She doesn't seem capable of interacting with the lid, and we can't do anything with the keyhole unless we, like, jam the knife into the keyhole?
I can't see how that will...
Trowel into keyhole. And we already tried the room key into keyhole. It's interesting that she tries it.
The key doesn't...
Break trowel with pot. Break pot with trowel.
I'm not sure. I can't see.
No. This was just the letter that brought us here, so I don't expect to have anything in here. Steeped in local legend, misunderstand. Julie, I'll await your letter. The inn has 5 rooms. Journal, knife, fiddle. Well, hold on. So what if we played a song? I'm gonna keep coming back to this. Thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. What the hell? Maybe that's where you have to stand? Is there like a moon? I don't see a moon carving on the ground or anything. Here's what I was thinking. If you stand on the moon and then maybe you play the song on the fiddle. Can I even play the song on the fiddle?
I should take a closer look.
Okay, well, shoot. Use fiddle on bust. Oops.
I can't see how that... I can't see...
No, okay. It's the listen, like maybe we're supposed to make a sound, but that doesn't seem to be backed up right now. Oh, wait, what if we use the fiddle on this musical note up here? We're close, I feel like.
I wonder if this had any relevant meaning.
The fact that she hums instead of saying, no, that's stupid, I can't do anything with that.
That is well out of my...
Right.
That's a peculiar idea.
Well, I thought maybe they were like, oh, that reminds me of a song, like musical key.
Karja? Sarja? I have no idea what it means. Karj...
So that's both a left click and a right click. The lid. Why is the lid interactable? I mean, the pots are also interactable, but the lid is interesting.
I believe this might...
She can't move it.
It's very heavy.
And then she can't get through here because it's too heavy.
That's not moving an inch.
I am a bit stumped. Maybe we can wedge the knife in between the 2 doors?
No, that's not it. I should be careful. The blade is sharp. That's a peculiar... I can't see how... Two fearsome serpents. I can make out chains.
When we put the key into the lock, a mechanism high above her did something. I can't leave the room to investigate outside this area, so I'm assuming currently that that's going to come up later. You can't go any farther down, and you can't leave the room.
To find a way.
Yeah, I'm a little out of ideas. We can't remove the key out of the eye. The jaw remains shut. We can't play the fiddle. I swear to God the answer is here, and I'm just not getting it. A dead language reveals the path. That means nothing to me. I mean, that could be the Kaja or the Saja, but I don't see how that relates to any item or sequence in this room. Thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said. Follow the words of my mouth. Reveal thyself to me. I heard a whisper not once, again and again. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. And then this is all the interactives in the room. We were making really good progress, you guys. I am 100% stumped on this. It's like there's some thing.
A keyhole.
Yeah. With no key. We can read the inscription. There's no other, like, item that we can interact with. There's no more treasures, right?
The recess bears no more treasure.
We can't use the key in the keyhole. The trowel doesn't seem to do anything here. I mean, did I try wedging the trowel into the jaw? I don't remember. This isn't gonna work.
Try as I might.
The journals for reading. We definitely tried this.
I can't see how that...
Yeah, no, neither can I. And this is totally non-interactable. Oh, the fuck? Okay. That was... So Caroluna's turning in. My brain is dead. I'll go to sleep now and watch the VOD. Have a good one. Caroluna, have a great night. This is new. Okay. It gave no indication that you could left-click on the horns to interact with them. Was that the listen? I don't know how you were ever supposed to know to do this. We found the key. The horn bus key. All right. How were you supposed to know to do that? Those are the dials. That's what the suns are. These are the dials. That's what those symbols... I thought those were the sun. The moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said and follow the words of my mouth. Moon and chief of stars? I don't really understand that part. And then listen, but they're horns, not ears. Anyway. Anytime that I, like, stumble on the solution accidentally, I try to work backwards to, like, what was the logic that I missed of it?
The key fits.
And it's frustrating if I still don't know.
Sounds like a mechanism creaked somewhere far above me. What a horrific racket. That dreadful sound seems to be coming from behind the opening. I can almost make out a pattern, a tune of sorts.
So now we get to use the fiddle. And so this is the listen. So I'm so sorry. If this is the listen part, listen to things that I've said and follow the words of my mouth. That's the fiddle part. How? And anyway, I'm gonna let go of the fact that you were supposed to interact with the horns. Oh dear. I don't know. Oh, there's letters down here. Kaja or Saja. String. But I can't see what the letters are. Kaja or Saja. Is it upside down? It doesn't look like it. I'm listening to it. Okay, but I needed it to repeat. So I'm very concerned that my lack of musical ability is going to haunt us here.
No, that's not it.
Oh, she said that's not it because it was finishing out the previous song. Oh, that's very bad news.
No, that's not it.
So, I'm sorry, how many notes is the song? It's 5, right? Is that it? Hold on.
No, that's not it.
It's 5 notes. And I don't have the pitch necessary for this to work. Sungniff is guessing G-A-E-G. I'm gonna give that a shot because it makes as much sense as anything to me. Like, this is one of those cases where it's like, I can hear that there's 5 notes, and it sounds to me like it's 1 note, a higher note, then the first note again, then the higher note, and then like a third note. And I'm not good at the music part, so let's try that. But it's 5 letters, though. Or 5 notes.
No, that's not it.
Oh, but this is your note. Oh, it's right here. I'm listening to it, but it's actually right here. Okay, hold on. So it's going to be the highest one. Then the lowest one. Then the middle one? Then the lowest one, and then the highest one.
No, that's not it.
Also, it doesn't sound anything like it. Okay, I think the higher notes are at the bottom here, I think is what it is. So let's try that. So, high note, low note, middle note, and I'm going to guess the A, but then we might go back to the other one.
No, that's not it.
Wait, did I did that backwards from what I intended to do. I'm so sorry. Low note, high note, middle note, high note, low note.
No, that's not it.
Okay, hold on. Let's try it with like the 3 in here.
No, that's not it.
The second and fourth notes sound exactly the same to me. What I need to hear is like the first and fifth notes. I'm waiting for it to repeat. I think the first and fifth are the same. I mean, that's what makes sense here.
No, that's not it.
It gives you 4 strings. It looks like it's like you have 3 bars here. So Sunganif is guessing G-A-D-A-G, and I'm gonna give it a shot. So, if you're like me and you just don't have music, how are you supposed to solve that?
Karja? Sarja? I have no idea what it means.
What was it? G-A-D-A-G. It's literally on the mural, says Sunganif. But there's 4 strings. Like, I kept going, like, the thing that I kept doing, the E string is never used. Okay, like, I guess that's what was throwing me off, because when I worked out, based on the sounds coming out of the hole, that this is low and this is high. But even then, I was going as high as you could, which was the thing that was throwing me off. This is just me, like, this is a very, very well-designed game. So it's like there must have been something that I missed that would have made that more intuitive, since I can hear the difference in notes, but not to the point where I can, like, match them up to, like, what the fiddle is doing. Anyway.
It's all just hogwash. Is this all in my head?
Okay. Sun, eye, moon. This seems like the journal thing that I keep looking at. Moon. The chief of the stars would be the sun, maybe? A dead language reveals the path.
An eye. It is rather unsettling. A crescent moon.
Hold on, there's like a plaque over here. And also, let's look.
The plaque is inscribed with Latin text. My father understood the language well. I'm afraid I don't. It says...
Okay, so I also don't speak Latin, but that looks like moon. That could be sun or stars. I don't know. I don't know Latin. But I feel like the journal is the description of that. Maybe these are not separate ideas. For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I've said and follow the words of my mouth. Moon, stars, listen, mouth. Well, moon definitely feels like first, doesn't it? Oh, we can't look at this funny statue anymore.
Father?
With popish tricks and relics rare, the priests their flocks do gull. In casting out the earth take care. Huzzah! I've found a skull!
Oh, the doors change. Okay, so that'll make this... So now we do the stars, right? Yeah, Master of the Stars. Oh, wait, there's a page! I didn't mean to leave.
3, 2, 1. You can open your eyes now, Thomasina. Come. Are you ready for your first excavation?
Father!
Capital. Make sure you remember everything I've taught you. I have a feeling you might find something special.
Can you hear me, Father? Is it really you?
I'll be watching from the steps, my little bird. Good luck.
So we should get the trowel. I
remember this.
Very disappointed that I missed the page that was on the ground. Hold on a second. This might be very stupid. Let me save over need oil, because that was a very long time ago. If I went to reload from the last autosave, how long ago was this? Let me go. I want to, like, see if... Because I don't want to miss that page is the thing. Okay, but we should be able to do this very quickly now. Okay, we might end up seeing the thing with the cats again, but it's never going to stop bothering me if I don't see what was in that page. She was standing right in front of it, was the thing. Also, we get to see this awesome cat scene again. This would legitimately be really unsettling to me. And I love cats.
It's all just hogwash. Is this all in my head?
Okay, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to look at the inscription.
The plaque is inscribed Mites.
Okay, so we saw that. Okay, so now we go through the moon door. There's nothing else in here, right? Yeah, I don't want to miss anything again and, like, do it all. Yeah, sorry, everybody, to, like, run through this dialogue again, but really want to see what that page says. Watch it be like, wow, good eyes, you found it.
Father?
Here's an Easter egg.
With popish tricks and relics rare, the priest...
Yeah, some of the dialogue you can skip. The best part is that little Thomasina doesn't stop dancing. Okay, page. We worked so hard to get here.
This is my father's handwriting.
My initial suspicions are proving to be true. We are not dealing with a mere folk goblin, conjured up in the minds of farmers on which to blame their failures. Sacknot may dwell here, but he is not alone. I think back to all I have studied, all I have learned. Everything points to the possibility of a much more malign influence. Something long forgotten stirs within this bleak place. Something dark, something monstrous longs for attention. I've prepared the tablet. I will put an end to this. Yeah, that was worth coming back for. So...
What is this tablet he keeps referring to?
I didn't mean to skip that first dialogue, but now we're into stars. Okay. This brings us right back to where we were.
Three, 2, 1. You can come.
Are you ready for your first...
Father,
Make sure I have a...
can you... Is it really...
I'll be watching from the steps, my little bird. Good luck.
I remember this.
I also remember where the urn was, which was over here. I remember it being the last place that I looked.
Nothing.
Ah, Father switched it up. Or he didn't, and it's always the last place that you look.
Nothing. Oh, the wretched smell. What is the meaning of this? Father?
And then listen, right? Listen to the things that have come out of my mouth. And I'm just looking for more pages.
Mother?
Thomasina, is that you?
Father, it is. It's me.
My dear, sweet little bird. I'm so very dreadfully hot. Please remove these covers. They suffocate me so.
Father, you can talk again.
And I've got so much to ask you. So much to tell you. But please, first, the covers.
Father, your body.
Oh, my dear, clever girl. You're so close now. How good it is to finally speak with you again.
But...
Don't worry. It will all be fine soon. You're close to the end, little bird.
It's a very simple, I don't know that simple is the right word, but regardless of the art style, there's some good stuff in here. Like, legitimately, like, oh. Yeah, mouth. Listen to things I say with my mouth. Yeah, probably here.
My God. Father, this ends now. There's something here, in the soil. A tablet, made of lead. There's an inscription scratched into it. Aliges daemonium incantamentum. With mine blood shall thou be bound to the earth, and only with mine blood shall thou be freed. Is this what Saxnot was referring to? My father wrote this? I know what I need to do. Still scarcely believe what I saw looming over me in that Stygian chamber. How does one even attempt to describe the indescribable? The vision before me defied all logical explanation. All my efforts to do so have fallen on deaf ears, merely providing a chance to be mocked, pitied, and dismissed as mentally unsound. I dare not commit that unfathomable glimpse to paper, but it was real, Mother. He is real. Not an imaginary terror, but a demon, a god brought to life. I turned and ran, striving to somehow make my way out of that accursed Barrow alive, inspirited by the hope that my squalid deed had freed Father from his plight. Speechless voices whispered to me in unknown tongues that grew louder with every step. Suddenly, there was light.
I saw him too. That night I saved your father. Ever since then, I felt his corruption growing within me. It grew stronger and stronger as he raged against the incantation that bound him beneath the soil. I fought him with all my might, tried hard to bury him in the corners of my mind. Oh, Thomasina, how I tried, but I could deny him no longer. I became naught but an instrument. His voice became my own. I deceived you. I'm sorry. I am his now. Soon we'll all be his. Hail Abrexus Rex.
Well, I say, she's done it, Leonard.
Your lordship, I believe she has. My dear Miss Bateman, there is a god about whom you know nothing, because men have forgotten him. Recall him by his name, Abraxas.
Welcome back, Master. Come, Leonard. We must await him at the chapel.
Aye, only there shall he be complete.
Miss Bateman, welcome back to Ticehurst House. It's been quite some time. Terrible weather this evening, is it not? Nurse Blaketon has had enough of me smoking inside. Makes her cough, you see. A bit of rain won't kill me, will it? You mustn't be interested in me nattering on. Give my regards to your father. Nurse Blaketon is preparing his supper. You look pale, Miss Bateman. Do head inside. You'll catch your death out here.
So this was the very beginning, except for this part where we did not see her go inside. Oh. Oh. I don't think we give it to him.
Ah, Mr. Kemp. Welcome.
My heart is his heart, your lordship.
And my light is his light. We've a full house for today's sermon. You'd best take your seat.
My heart is his heart, your lordship.
And my light is his light, Mr. Long.
You have made an Eden here, your lordship. We are ever so thankful to you.
I assure you, Mr. Long, this is only the beginning. Please, join the others inside.
My heart is his heart.
And my light is his light, dear Leonard. How are you feeling?
Fit as a fiddle.
After you.
And now I sit in this dismal room, day after day, year after year, imprisoned and committed with seemingly little hope of redemption. You have chosen not to visit me, and I understand that, I do. Indeed, I've had but one visitor, Arthur Tillett. He comes to see me once or twice a year. A loyal and decent man who tried in vain to warn me of the wicked plot concocted by Lord Panswick and Mr. Shoulder. Thankfully, Midland Railway accepted his transfer request. He and his wife were able to leave that damnable village several weeks after my excavation. It feels like an age has passed since that fateful night at Ticehurst House, but finally, you have my full account. I thought I knew my father. As I look back on my childhood memories, I can only conclude that it was his wish to protect me from the true nature of his endeavours. But why didn't you tell me the truth, especially after what happened to him at Hobbs Barrow? Why did you allow me to grow up idolising a man who didn't exist? I did not kill father. It was he that guided my hand. I was in thrall to that most malevolent force, Abraxas. I beg you to understand. He has had his revenge, but I know he will return. Where is he now? What more is he capable of? I only wanted to save my father. Oh, Mother, what have I done? Forgive me.
So I feel like this is going to be one of those experiences that I will really like after this is done, I'm not going to have felt that I was successful at summing up what I think about it, because the game throws so much at you as you go. Big shout out to the cast here as they scroll by. Not a dud in the group, especially Will Dorenzi Martin. Sir, you did a fantastic job of like the worst guy, but everybody here that we see, so good. The voices really brought the characters and the story to life. I cannot say enough good things about them. Otherwise, this is one of those games that I look at to say, this is why I don't want to know anything about a game that I intend to play, because I had no idea the tone of this game or the fact that here by the end, it's a straight up horror game. Like, it really goes to some dark places. The music does sound very loud to me, but I hesitate to try to like exit out because I'm concerned that it might skip the credits altogether. Can you guys, like Sungnif, Maxine, is this audible enough for you guys? Otherwise, I might hold off until the end to say what I have. As we go, though, just all I had was we can hear you, says Sungnif. What I had in this game was the fact that it was a pixel art adventure game, similar in like overall style to something like Kathy Rain's director's cut. I know it was a different developer, or Unavowed. Like, that's sort of what I had going into it. But where those games had some mystery to it, neither one of them skewed this far into straight up like horror and like when I say gore, I don't mean that in a dismissive or cheap or lazy way. I just mean like by the end of it, like Thomasina is, I guess Abraxas is just exploding people as she walks by them like it's Galarians or something. Like, it was, that's why I'm like, it takes such a turn where you get to this town and people are being very cagey, kind of evasive. It's not really clear what they're trying to hide. Are they trying to drive you away, protect you from something, drive you towards something, mislead you? Like what all is going on? So when it gets revealed here at the end that even the friendly troll of Saxonot is not to be trusted and has been completely converted by Abraxas, I guess I left room for that, but really did not think that was the way that it was going to go. Also, look at them crediting like coins dropped in a piggy bank. Like, these are the sound effects that were used. Full links to all of the above can be found in the game's installation folder. That's wild. Like, yeah. This game is one of those ones that feels a lot like it was a labor of love for the people that made it. Like, they had a story that they wanted to tell and were working inside of this adventure game construction engine to really do their best to bring it to life. And so much of that went into the voice work that's why I keep returning to that. I feel like there's a huge amount of artistry in the pixel art, and especially the animation. Like, there's so much care. Remember the first time that we saw Herbert the cat walking across the room and it did that close-up? That must have taken, I imagine that took some artists like a lot of time. I don't want to say too much or too little, but a lot of time to get that animation cycle working properly. And then there's a scene where Leonard Shoulder looks at Thomasina and like smiles, and I remember thinking, that doesn't necessarily feel like a happy, kindly, I'm glad to see you, but then again, I wasn't sure if it was the art style, which is frankly a way in which the art style works to the game's benefit, that what we now might look at and confirm was a sinister sort of like rictus. It wasn't clear at that time. And the voice work, what's so good about it is that so many of the characters are so warm and friendly. Lord Panswick is a rare example where that's not, like, I don't like that guy at all, but everybody else, including like Arthur Tillett, well, Arthur Tillett was like a big drunk lout, but Stanley Kemp, I really like Stanley Kemp. And Mr. Shoulder, like, I like the voice work. I wasn't sure that he was ever on the up and up, but he seemed like a friendly enough sort. Yeah, I don't know. I guess one of the other things I liked about it is that I felt like compared to a game like Unavowed or Kathy Rain, this game had a lot more characters that would sort of come up and then be revisited a little bit later. So I was taking notes on what everybody's name was and what was their general, like, oh, that's Mrs. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't see Mrs. DePlancy go into the sinister church at the end. That would have been really fun. If, like, she was one of the people who's like, oh, hello there, pet. I brought my Bakewell cookies, or whatever they're called, Bakewell cakes. Here they are. That would have been great. That would have been very cool at the end. Yeah, and there were, like, I'd say 2 points where I got really stumped. One of them was in the previous episode where I knew that I was looking for the spare key. The element that simply didn't occur to me is that the spare key would be like caulked inside of mortared inside of the wall, because that's it. Like, you get locked out of your church, it's kind of inconvenient to get it there. So that part just didn't have occurred to me. I don't know that it ever would have. So I was very glad when, and forgive me for not remembering if it was Maxine or like somebody in chat was like, wait, maybe you should try the chisel on the wall, and then that got us through that. Absent that, I really wasn't sure. And then the second one we all saw was in this episode was the musical thing. That was another case where, if not for, in this case, Sunganif, I might have had to resort to looking that up, because I knew what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to look at the musical bars up there and listen to it and be able to put together, like, okay, I'm supposed to play those notes. And I am just, personally, I can't. Like, I just don't have that sense of pitch. So I was very glad for the interaction of chat on those 2 occasions. The other place where I almost got super caught, because I like to own it when I'm like, there's points in here where I'm like, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it went like really smoothly. So I do like to call out the points where at least one puzzle I did totally by accident. And that was when we were trying to get Thomasina's stuff out of the post office, and I was going for drinks with William Long, but that wasn't going anywhere. And I kind of accidentally went wandering around, and I invited Cyril over, and I didn't realize, it didn't occur to me that Cyril remained in the inn after that was done. So then when I went to have a third and I thought maybe final drink with William Long, he was like, oh, that's Cyril, I'm gonna go argue with him. And that was when, like that was a puzzle that I did. It was one of those things where I was just like trying different things, but I feel extremely fortunate that I hadn't in my head crossed off like, okay, I'm not going to go out with William Long anymore because it doesn't do anything, because I otherwise would never have thought to try that. That was just, that would have been a gap in my, I just didn't realize that he had stayed there. I don't know that I have a lot else to say, and again, what's really going to bother me is that, like, later today or tomorrow, all I'm gonna think is the stuff that I didn't say. I thought the interface was very clean. It is interesting to me that your room key that you have in your inventory never serves a purpose. And I tried it at several points. As far as I could tell, maybe there's like an option to lock your door at one point, Maybe it's not for unlocking something. Maybe you have the option to lock your door. But no, it's interesting that room key never serves a purpose in the entire game, whereas other things like the trowel or the knife are used multiple times. That's not a complaint. I actually think it's really interesting from a game design standpoint that you have this red herring that you're just carrying around for the whole game. And I don't know that red herring's accurate because there's never a point where it seems like it should be useful. Sungniff said this was great. You just misread the mural. It happens. Sungniff, I feel like I'm still misreading the mural because I still don't see it. What I'm saying here is that I'm very glad that you were here because I don't mind looking something up if I get stuck, but I'd really like to, on the other side of that, learn what was I doing wrong, so then I'll maybe carry that forward to another game that uses similar style of puzzles. And here I'm still stumped. I still don't know it. It's like there's so clearly a logic there, and I just haven't perceived it yet. And then, and I do think, by the way, that we now have clarity on this title screen, and it didn't occur to me until just now. It's much more literal than what I was thinking of. This is Thomasina arriving at Bewley, and this is Thomasina in the reflection, reflecting on her time at Bewley and remembering it and looking back at herself, thinking that she was so smart, so confident, so scientific, following in the steps of her father. A man who, as she puts at the end, never existed because he was not an archivist. He was a spiritualist. And we are led to believe that he screwed something up, but one of the revelations there at the end is no, he didn't. He had successfully sealed away that demon. Saxonot had lived in that barrow. Saxonot, the story, here's something that we have to be aware of. The story that Saxonot tells is a total falsehood. There is a goblin who lived at Hob's Barrow, but he was not accidentally locked away when Thomasina's father turned up and screwed up a binding ritual. Rather, he had probably already been corrupted by Abraxas, so Thomasina's father locked him in there with Abraxas and sealed the whole thing up and said, we're never coming back, and gave his own blood to seal it forever, and became quasi-comatose after that, maybe aware but unable to move or speak, and probably desperately wanted more than anything for his daughter to never go there, knowing that her blood could undo what he had done. But Saxonot, or Abraxas in the form of Saxonot, was able to use Thomasina's desire to be with her father and to cure her father against her by spinning this story about he meant well, but he just screwed up. Come free me and I can undo what happened to your father. It was all an accident and I can make it all better. And I gotta say, you heard me say earlier, I was in on that. I was like, I don't know what the price would be right now based on everything that we've seen that Thomasina would not pay it to make her father better again, up to and including sacrificing her own health. But it turned out that it was all a lie, and a very effective one. This is all really good writing, I feel like, because I like that at the end, we don't get a beat-by-beat breakdown from the vision of Saxonot. All right, let me walk you through the whole thing. He simply says, there's enough, if not humanity, then, decency. He's not a human, but, decency in Saxonot that he's like, I'm so sorry, but I am completely given over to Abraxas now. And by the way, Abraxas' response is just incinerate him on the spot and then go into Thomasina. And that at last brings us back to, we come full circle back to Thomasina visiting her father at that hospital. That was in my head as I played. I remembered that being the opening and it not being clear how it all related to what else was happening. And now we know that we end the game we begin the game a few days after it ends with her going to visit her father and Abraxas taking revenge on this man, who is completely helpless, by the way. It's an act of pure savage hatred for no purpose except to destroy Thomasina's family. Like, yeah, it's not the blood and gore that gets me at the end. It's the fact that Abraxas wins totally and unambiguously and has this town completely in his thrall at the end. And the only people that know about it with the wherewithal to do something about it, one of them got beaten to death with the urn that he gifted his daughter as part of her quote-unquote first excavation to teach her his craft so that she might someday be able to follow in his footsteps when she was old enough to understand what he actually did for a living. And the other one he destroyed by killing her father with her own hands, a memory and a knowledge that she has to live with forever from behind bars while everyone treats her like a raving lunatic. Like, it's such a dark ending. It's really good. So anyway, that is my breakdown of the Excavation of Hob's Barrow. This is going to be one of those things that I think about for a while, and would have been interested to see Mia's reaction to, except Mia tends to play like really, really visceral horror games, and I'm not sure how she'd feel about this. If she ever expresses an interest, I'll definitely recommend it to her. It's a very cool game, and like this art here, I really like. I will say this before I turn to chat real quick. The artwork around Thomasina seemed, and possibly intentionally, very ambiguous, where like you look at Thomasina here and you get a sense for what she's supposed to look like, except in the game she rarely, if ever, looks even similar to this. It feels like we get some inconsistent depictions of how Thomasina looks, but maybe that's because different artists work on like the close-up of the eyes or like some of the cutaways where you see her in different cutscenes. It's not a complaint. If anything, I thought it was interesting that it's almost like you're never meant to really know what your character looks like, and maybe that's intentional to like give it a little bit of like flexibility so she sort of looks how you think she looks. Anyway, Sungnif says, this is basically all Mom's fault. If she had been more straightforward with Thomasina, but you really would have thought that she would have shared it when Thomasina went live with her whole, like, I'm gonna go follow in Father's footsteps. Like, maybe dear old Mom would have pulled her aside to say, look, I gotta let you in on the family secret here. Sungnif loves the ending. It's very Cthulhu mythos in style. Yeah, and it's very Cthulhu mythos in tone, like a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, which I've not read, by the way, but I've read about, takes place in like remote little like New England towns or like English hamlets. Like I'm probably not going to get like the region right, but small little like villages around there, and that's where this is. It's a demon of considerable power and ability to sway humans, but it's all sort of unfolding in this little tiny out of the way place where others would never have a reason to go, so they can sort of like gather his power and his followers and exact what is probably going to be a generation's long-term plan. I would be shocked if we ever got like a sequel to this, but I would certainly play it and will be very interested in any future games from Cloak and Dagger Games. That's the development company that made this. Jab says, my 2 cents, completing a game is different from winning. I don't see the point in playing a game that I can't win. I guess that goes to, I feel like Jab, although Thomasina did not win, I won by getting to engage with a story that I'm going to find really memorable. And I gotta say, I feel pretty good about working out some of those puzzles. Like, it's like, this is a game where the journey and the destination were worth it for me, so that even if the story where it ends is very dark, I was playing this for the story, not to, and I guess to overcome the challenge of the puzzles, but I am okay with the story having unfolded through forces that are outside of my control as the player, because I still had a lot of agency in like being able to solve the puzzles and stuff. So I guess that's where I'm coming to from that perspective. But I hear you. There's people, I can certainly understand the perspective of like, what? So everything sucks and everything that you did is for the worsening? Like, there's a consideration to be made that Thomasina's life would be better if I had never played the game, because then those events don't occur to her. Sunsmith likes the ending. It's very Cthulhu in nature, says yups, and some of the best Lovecraft stories, and with the protagonist writing about his total failure from within an asylum cell. Again, I haven't read a lot of Lovecraft directly, but it sounds then that this is very heavily modeled on that. That's everything I can imagine saying about the Excavation of Hob's Barrow. Big thumbs up. I don't remember if I bought this at full price or if this was a pickup by my producer during one of the winter sales, and I think it was more likely that second thing. But yeah, no, this was very good. And I will say this. Again, they have no developers in common that I'm aware of. But the art style of this reminded me more of Kathy Rain than it does the art style of Avowed, which is maybe one of the reasons why I continue to think of Kathy Rain. Kathy Rain, in my opinion, and I won't say anything about it, I'm not going to say anything about the story. I'll say that on the whole, from a narrative perspective, I think that Kathy Rain really bit off a lot more than it was prepared to chew, or I don't know how to extend that metaphor anymore. Kathy Rain really went places that I did not feel benefited the story or the experience of playing it. It delves into some topics that would benefit from trigger warnings, except that those would then also be fairly significant spoilers. So Kathy Rain is a whole deal. I enjoyed playing Kathy Rain. There are decisions made from a storytelling perspective that I don't think benefit the experience, and I don't have, and I talked about those, by the way, at the time. I don't have any of those feelings about this game or Unavowed. Like, on my sort of like pantheon of pixel art style adventure games that I've played on stream, I think that this is right up there with Avowed and really had a good time, and will continue to look forward to products that are not only developed by, but simply published by Watch It iGames. I really like this. So that is everything. Unavowed is very different from this, though. True, and that's why I'm spending more time comparing it to Kathy Rain, because in terms of tone, it's not a secret. It's right there. Kathy Rain is a mystery game, and you go to this small town where you're investigating a mystery. Like, it has those elements in common, which I think is why it's the more ready comparison point for me. Whereas Unavowed is a series of mysteries, but also a series of sort of, it's like reading a short story anthology about the same characters going from one story to the next, with the, like, everything was sort of like, there's an ongoing overarching thing that they're doing, but for sections of it, it feels like, oh, here's like, story number 3 in this anthology that you're reading. So it's structured very differently, and that's why, like, I sort of like wind up thinking about Kathy Rain a lot here as we go. Oh, and hello to Diesel Jones, who says he's too late. Yes, we just wrapped it up. Diesel Jones, before we go, thank you from the community. Like, I just wanted to let you know what you did in getting that game for Haseo was so awesome. I was there in Patikin's chat, and I couldn't really like talk when it was there, but I like people to know when their kindnesses go like noticed by others, because I know that Haseo is having an awesome time with the game. I think it's super cool. I just wanted to thank you from me and from others in the community. That was such a cool thing to do. So thank you. Like, anyway, I'm not going to belabor that, but I thought that was really neat. Just like this random act of kindness towards somebody who's in the community, and it seemed cool. Unavowed is basically an urban fantasy. Rob says some gonna. It's like an episodic TV show. Yeah, with like that's another good comparison point with like a short season with a not 23 episodes is what I'm saying, but with an overarching story that ties it all together by the end. Unavowed is great. If you guys haven't played that, I recommend it. Anyway, let's call it there for the Excavation of Hob's Barrow. We will continue playing Marvel's Midnight Suns, but what we'll be doing next, probably after the next Midnight Suns stream, is an audition stream for something else that's going to be comparatively short that we can sort of interweave with Midnight Suns until Midnight Suns is done, because I really like this format of having one longer game that runs alongside a few shorter ones, and yeah, this perfectly satisfied this. What a great way to spend sort of a dreary, snowy, rainy Saturday afternoon here. This was great. Thank you guys so much, and we're going to go find somebody fun to raid. Until next time, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night.